Well, the first doubleheader had it all, didn't it, really? Huge game, huge crowds, huge highlights, the odd huge six through a car windscreen. It didn't quite have everything, though, did it? Both Durham teams still looking for their first home win of the 2025 T20 Blast. Could that come today? Well, there's only one place to find out the answer. Welcome to Durham Live. Yes, hello there, wherever you're watching around the world, exclusively live on Fancode in India. Welcome to the Banks Homes Riverside here in Chester Street, and welcome along to Durham Live in association with DAFA News. I'm Andy Sixsmith, and after a few days out and a couple of defeats later on the road, both of our Durham teams are back where they belong here in Chester Street at home, looking to pick up their first home wins of the T20 season in 2025. The women welcoming the Bears, the men welcoming Derbyshire Falcons. It's a veritable feast of cricket coming your way this Wednesday, and we are all looking forward to it here on Durham Live. The women getting underway in around about 12 or 13 minutes time. The men will be starting their game against the Derbyshire Falcons at around about 6:30 or so UK time this evening. Plenty to look forward to, and as ever here on Durham Live, we have absolutely everything covered. Every single second of the action will be coming your way across YouTube or however else you're watching it this Wednesday afternoon. Lots coming your way, like I say. Great to have you along. And if you are joining us on social media, get in touch with us. Get involved with the action using the hashtag #ForTheNorth. If you're watching us on YouTube, drop us a comment. Give us a question. I know I won't be able to answer them, most certainly, but our peerless team of pundits most definitely will. And our unlucky first in the DAFA News studio, who arguably is the hardest working bloke on Durham Live, and definitely, I'll double check with him, hasn't parked his car in Bannatyne's gym car park this week. It's a wonderful welcome back to Mr. Ashley Thorpe. Ash, I guess that is the first question. Where have you parked your car?
Well away from here, right over the back on the football field, mate. Yeah, nowhere near. I definitely don't want that.
Absolutely not. If you are wondering what the heck we're talking about in the Durham Live studio, folks, check it out on social media. It went pretty viral, I would have said. A big six from one of the Lancashire players going straight through some poor bloke's car rear windscreen. The perilous views of coming along for a nice afternoon as entertainment at the cricket, I guess, Ash. Listen, let's look ahead to today. Big double header, and of course a big day for us all here at Durham, because it's our annual Pride Day as well.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we want this place to be inclusive. We want everybody to feel welcome and be able to express themselves however they are. And today's a really good example of that. Durham have lots of initiatives along with the ECB throughout the T20 season, so today's Pride Day, and we'll get behind that, and hopefully everybody has a great day and great night.
Absolutely, and the women and the men coming into this one, like I pointed out before, we're yet to taste a win here at the Banks Homes Riverside. The women, though, let's focus on them first. Taking on the Bears early doors. I think we're starting things off in around about 10 minutes time or so. They've had a difficult time of it on the road recently, obviously a couple of defeats. I mean, Surrey will come on to. Very few teams ever go down to the Oval and beat Surrey. But what about that DLS defeat first?
Not well. We actually won by one run on the DLS.
Shows me it's how much research do I do into
we got
this,
home.
yeah.
I think probably a little bit fortunately, if I'm honest with you. We didn't post the greatest total. I think it was 117 maybe for 9. And then thankfully it rained at the end of the power play, and we were to the good by one run. I was messaging Danny Hazel and going, is it off yet? And she's gone, no, but it's pouring down. I don't think we'll get back on. And then it finally came through, and she was pretty relieved, but pretty aware that I think we got away with one there.
Yeah, let's talk about that win, because it was a bit of a morale booster as well, wasn't it, for the Lasses?
Yeah, I think getting used to being on the road. They had that long trip there, and then you mentioned Surrey, then they're on the road up to London to take on arguably the strongest of the sides in the competition. It's tough. It's all new. It's learning. They're a young squad, but I think we're just about getting to the point now where I'm not calling them excuses, that there are reasons and circumstances, but we need to put them behind us and start getting some wins on the board at home.
We've talked about Susie Bates. We've seen what Susie Bates can do. Is that a kind of a surefire sign of what Holly Armitage can do against Surrey as well?
Yeah, I mean, she's a great player. Yeah. She's a leader. She'll probably be a bit disappointed with her start to the campaign. Yeah. I think I was having a look, and Susie Bates and Bess Heath, I think, are the only players over 100 runs so far. And I think you can look at that as the reason why we haven't picked up many wins. We need to be having those match-winning contributions from the girls. 40s and 50s aren't enough. We need those big scores of 70s and 80s and multiple contributions during the day as well.
Is it almost a case of, given Surrey's dominance currently, they've got arguably the strongest team, and they're clear at the top of the table as well. Is it almost a case of the lasses just kind of writing that one off down at the Oval as they head into this game against the Bears?
Yeah, I think you need the old goldfish memory, don't you? Yeah. You know, you have to roll with it. When you win, you know, ride that wave. But when you lose, thankfully, you get to jump back on really quickly. And we're at home today. We'll hopefully get a nice crowd in for a double header again here at the Banks Homes Riverside. So put our best foot forward. And exciting news that Leah Dobson's available as well today for making her debut. Yeah,
100%. We'll come on to Leah in a second. We won the toss. If you are just joining us on Durham Live, Durham have decided to have a bat as well. Right decision, Ash? I mean, it's a little bit overcast here in Chester Street. What do you reckon to it?
Yeah, there is a bit of humidity around, but I don't think that's going to change. It's a good pitch. It's the pitch that they use for the one-day international. There should be lots of runs on there. I went out and had a look at it. It's rock hard. There's a bit of grass on, so I'm expecting it to come onto the bat nicely. And Durham, hopefully they can get a good score on the board and build a bit of pressure on the Bears, who we went down to Birmingham earlier in the season. They got the better of us there, and hopefully we can, on our home patch, get one over on them.
Absolutely, and a big day for Leah. You mentioned Leah Dobson making a debut for Durham today. How will she be feeling going into this one, do you reckon?
Probably a little bit nervous, as you would be. She's she's already made her debut for Durham in the 50 over stuff, but brand new competition, and she is one of the batters that we will look to. She hits the ball hard, so I'm excited to see what she can offer, and hopefully that just might take the pressure off another couple of the girls, that we can get up to that total of 140, 150 and really put the Bears under pressure.
I was going to say, what do you reckon is, having had a look at the pitch and having seen what happened in the T20 International here at the Riverside just a few days ago, really, what do you think would be a good, strong total for the Bears to chase?
About 400.
That's talking at the Ash Thorpe history, that is, isn't it?
I think you're looking at minimum 150 just to put a bit of scoreboard pressure on. If they can get north of that, then great. But what that will need is one really good solid work and one batter, contributing a 50 to 70, and a couple of big partnerships. Hopefully having a batter in at the end that can really clear the ropes as well would be nice.
You mentioned, obviously, we've had a good look at the Bears earlier on in the season. What are they bringing from a T20 perspective here to the Banks Homes Riverside today?
They've got a lot of experience. They've got a lot of explosiveness. A bit of flair as well. They've got Laura Harris from Australia, who is a real character, and you'll get to see her bat a bit later on, and she whacks it. And then you've got the likes of Izzy Wong, who, again, another big character, really useful with the ball, and we'll probably see her very early on.
Absolutely. We've talked Holly, we've talked Susie to a certain extent, we've talked Leah. Who else are you looking at in this Durham team and hoping that they can either put in a big score, take a really good, good bowling total? Where are you looking at to make a difference today?
Yeah, I think one to watch for me is Bess Heath. She's just starting to get into form. She probably, by her own admission, had a bit of a rough winter, being part of the England squads and the England Lions squad, probably not posting the numbers that she would have wanted. She wants to put pressure on the England girls to say, Amy Jones is there, I'm right behind you, and as soon as you're not on your game, I'm ready to take your place. So I think it's time for her now to just take that next step up and take some real responsibility for Durham, and put some numbers on the board that hopefully contribute to a Durham win.
Well, whoever does shine, if it is a Durham win today, it contributes to what is developing into a very, very tight table. Surrey aside, you would argue, it's starting to congest itself in that mid-set. So how big would a win today be, Ash, in terms of, it's very, very early in the season, but in terms of qualification?
Yeah, it's important that you string 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins together, and momentum comes, confidence comes. Conversely, you get on a roll the other way as well. So what we'll hope to see today is especially at home, what you don't want to do is to dread playing at home.
Yeah.
So you want to put your best foot forward, get those wins at home, and every time that you step onto this ground, you feel really confident and ready and expect to win. Not just hope to win, but you expect to win.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask you for a couple of predictions this week, something a bit different. First of all, prediction, this bog standard, traditional, what's going to happen on the pitch?
I think we're going to post around I'm going to go for 160, and we're going to win by 25 runs.
You know that's never going to come back.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't come true. Don't worry. We don't do that on Durham Live. We don't keep receipts. And the second prediction is Emily Windsor. What's her role prediction today? Gone back to physio, or what's she doing today, do we reckon?
Drinks hobbler, physio / cheerleader. I mean, she's great. Hopefully we get her up here at some stage today. But yeah, she's getting closer and closer to getting on the right side of the rope. So hopefully she keeps continuing her recovery. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see her wandering around the boundary at some stage.
We hope so anyway. It's become a fixture, shall we say, on Durham Live most certainly. But for you, just finally, before I let you kind of hobble back to your commentary chair and take us through the action, you're managing a debut on Durham Live today. Polly Starkey with you in commentary. She's going to be sat in that very, very chair in the interval, having to deal with me after Durham's innings. Looking forward to working with Polly, bearing in mind she's about a metre away from you.
Yes. Yes. We had one of the 50 over games together. Polly, absolutely brilliant. Very knowledgeable on the women's game. Recently covered the England and West Indies series, so no doubt she'll keep me right.
I've got more chats actually with Polly. She also went out to the Ashes series, which we won't talk about what happened on the pitch for England women, most certainly. But I've got lots to talk about with Polly around that in the interval. So do stay tuned for that at the very, very least. But for us, we're 2.5 minutes away from the start of this one. Can Durham women pick up the first win of the day? This big double-header on Pride Day here at the Banks Homes Riverside. It is time to find out as Ash puts his microphone down and heads to his commentary chair. He is joining Polly Starkey, who makes her Durham Live debut. Polly, welcome along. Take us through the action.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chestler Street, the Banks Home Riverside. It's going to be an exciting one today. As has been mentioned, the double header. First up, Durham hosting the Birmingham Bears, who we can see in a huddle in their very nice light blue and yellow kits. And then, of course, the Durham batters, Susie Bates and debutant Leah Dobson in the navy and yellow, ready to make their way out to the middle. The umpires finding themselves there. We've got gorgeous blue skies, and I was breaking a sweat coming down here actually. It was really nice and warm. I think I should have opted for the shorts today instead of the jeans. But perfect weather for cricket. And as we said, Durham searching for a win, of course got that DLS win over Hampshire down at Arundel, and then lost to Surrey soon after. And of course these sides have met before in Durham's first game of the Vitality Blast, losing by 42 runs, but they posted decent total, 151 all out. So if they could replicate similar with the bat today, I think that would definitely be par score.
Yeah, I think they'll look at that. They'll look at this pitch, like we mentioned on the pre-match show there, that it's a used pitch from the One Day International, but it's a really good pitch. This outfield is absolutely rapid as well. Yeah, really excited to see how Leah Dobson goes, making her debut, which is, again, an exciting moment for her. And hopefully Susie Bates can continue on, but then kick on and make that real match-winning contribution, which I know for a fact that she'll be frustrated by. But yeah, really exciting afternoon in store for us here at the Banks Homes Riverside.
Warwickshire also have MR Lot back into their ranks after a very successful first stint with England. But it'll be Izzy Wong to open the bowling from the Finkel end, number 95 on her shirt. And Susie Bates will be on strike for the first ball of the day. Wong in past the umpire, just sliced onto the leg side for no run to start proceedings. Susie Bates has been brilliant so far. Obviously in the 50 over, but as well coming into the T20 Blast. So much experience and has made some decent scores too. 65 against the Bears in that first game, as Wong is in again, utilising the leg side, but no run available.
Tiny little bit of swing there, nothing major. Just having a look at the front foot there.
I've been impressed with Wong's bowling actually in the Vitality Blast, because she has had a lot of inconsistency over the last couple of years, and she has had a bit of a tough time, but she's taken wickets, and just her bowling on the whole has been a little bit more consistent than previously, as she comes into the attack again, and that's bowled up. The first wicket has gone. Susie Bates has to go for naught, and that is fantastic from Wong. Middle stump has disappeared, and we'll be able to see the replay shortly, I imagine, because that is gutting for Durham, losing Susie Bates at the top of the order. But Izzy Wong has struck, and Warwickshire will be delighted with that.
Yeah, it's a beauty that from Wong. The ball before just swung away a little bit. That one threatened to shape and has hit the seam and nipped back through the gate. And the experienced Susie Bates goes without scoring. Durham have some rebuilding to do already, being one down without scoring yet. Maddie Villiers, the new batter, to the crease.
A difficult start for Durham, with Maddie Villiers coming in, who hasn't made a big score yet in the tournament, but this is the perfect opportunity. A rebuild needed. Just 3 balls in and 1 wicket down, with the dangerous Izzy Wong only halfway through her over.
Yeah, Maddie Villiers, sorry, Paul, is another one who'll really want to make those match-winning contributions. Worked really hard over the winter. Powerful striker of the ball.
Wong coming in past the umpire to Villiers. This one's driven down the ground.
Shot.
It's going to head for 4. 2 fielders in pursuit, but goes all the way, and that's the first boundary of the day. Good start by Villiers.
Just slightly overpitched that one from Wong. The one before that got Bates was on a really good length. That one just slightly overpitched and beautifully put away. Lovely straight bat. Probably one of the toughest shots to play, the on drive. Lovely balance. Picks up 4. First ball. Good feeling.
First runs of the game for Durham, who are now 4 for 1, as Wong is continuing her over from the Finkel end. It's pushed into the offside and fielded, so no run available. Villiers, of course, has been involved in the England setup over a number of years. It's an ever more competitive environment. Actually, at the last game of the West Indies series, we spoke to Charlotte Edwards, who's just been appointed England coach. It's been her first series, and she said, actually, I've got a pool of 25 players to pick from rather than just the squad of 15, and that's so exciting and such a good development for the county structure, as Wong, through a action, goes through to the keeper. So that finishes a very, very good over for Warwickshire and Izzy Wong. Just 4 from it, and the wicket of Susie Bates very early on.
Yeah, you mentioned that pool of players. You've seen a few kind of burst back on the scene. Sophie Eccleston not available, so Lindsay Smith kind of comes and really jumps into her place, and without knowing much disruption. Eccleston obviously a very, very fine bowler. Then you rightly said Emma Harlow getting an opportunity. So from all these girls' point of view, they'll know that if they're impressing Charlotte Edwards, then they might just get the opportunity. Ben Stokes having a little wander around.
Yeah, it gives selection headaches for Charlotte Edwards, and that can only be a good thing. And obviously there is a World Cup happening in October, and then you look ahead to 2026 when England are hosting the T20 World Cup. So there's a lot in the calendar and a lot for players to have an eye on.
And it is Arlo who's going to open the bowling from the Lumley end. And Dobson into a drive straight away, maybe a little bit off the toe of the bat, but straight to the field in the covers.
I've been really happy for Emma Arlott, just because, she's been around England teams before. So there was one time where she was ruled out because of COVID, and then she's been on A tours, and it's never quite worked. And, she admitted a lot of that was down to confidence and feeling a bit of imposter syndrome. But, over the winter, she took herself out to Australia and just was like, I'm going to conquer this, and joined a club out there and played a bit for Western Australia, I think, as well. And then she came back, got the call up, and was so successful within the England side. So it's taken a lot, but I've been really impressed.
Dobson again drives, unable to beat mid-off. Yeah, it's great to see people get opportunities and then just, grab them with both hands. Seen that a lot with the men's cricket at the moment. You watch the T20s the other night, and the likes of Jacob Bethel and Jamie Smith are absolutely smashing it. Like you say, those same opportunities are now coming up on the women's scene as well. Tall right arm over the wicket. And that's clipped back over her head. Nicely struck by Dobson. And it goes all the way for 6. What a way to get off the mark in your T20 Blast debut.
Fair play. That was a fine shot by Dobson and a way to make your mark, as you say, on debut. And against a bowler who's really been in form, as we mentioned, part of the England series against the West Indies recently, where she was taking wickets for fun. So it's brave from Dobson, but fair play. 10 for 1, Durham are.
And that's what Dobson can bring. She can bring power. She loves hitting through the offside, and she also picks up on anything slightly short. And we see that one slightly short, and she pulls that away out into the deep. And there's Izzy Wong down there doing the fielding brilliantly. Really good effort. She hobbles away, actually, after that.
Yeah, she put a bit of a run in, coming round the corner, and obviously wanted to go for the catch. Didn't quite work out, and yeah, she is hobbling quite a bit.
That's good from Dobson. She must be picking the length up well. She's been out of the game for a little while now with a thigh injury. To see her jump on the front foot and hit one back over Harlott's head and then jump on the back foot. Villiers timing that one nicely, but again won't beat mid-off.
So 11 for 1, with Villiers on 4, Dobson on 7. This Vitality T20 Blast fixture, Durham hosting the Bears.
It's getting a little bit overcast here. Villiers walks down the pitch and absolutely cracks that out to Izzy Wong, who drops a pretty straightforward chance, you'd have to say. Should be disappointed with that Wong. Maybe just got to her a little bit quicker than what she thought. She absolutely raced in off the boundary. That hit her hands quite hard. And Villiers gets a life.
Yeah, that was an opportunity for Warwickshire. Wong is still hobbling. So whether she's still in a bit of pain from the earlier chance. I think it was 2 balls earlier. But she'll be frustrated. As you say, a pretty straightforward catch. She's going to have to bowl now, so she's going to have to sort that hobble out. Yeah. She's having a word with Georgia Davis, the captain.
It's an all-action start for Wong, isn't it? She's picked up the wicket of Bates, been driven for 4, launched herself at a catch that she just didn't manage to get to, and then put one down. So she's definitely in the hot seat so far today.
She's the sort of player that's never out the game. She's always involved. Even if, the ball's on the other side of the pitch, she's probably running somewhere and trying to very much stay in the game. She's going to bowl a second over here from the Finkel end. This one's been struck in the air, but crowd catch in the end. 13 for 1. Couple of cheers from her teammates. Dobson on strike. Wong walking a little bit gingerly back to her mark, but she's running in as usual. Dobson awaits, this time on the leg side. She'll just get the one from it.
Yeah, good intent from Dobson. I like that. Slightly over pitch from Wong. Really threw her hands at that one. Should be disappointed she hasn't put it away. Thick inside edge, as you said there, Polly. Picking up another single.
$14 for 1 as Wong running past the umpire. And this one's driven nicely. Timed really well. It's going to race away for 4. That's a boundary for Maddie Villiers takes her to 10. It's a good bit of cricket.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. She got the width that she wanted. She hit the fielders a couple of times earlier on, but she managed to find the gap there. That'll feel good for Villiers. She moves into double figures.
So not as tight and over from Wong as we saw earlier up with the wicket and just the boundary. In again to Villiers, sent behind, and will just get the 1 run.
Interesting choice of delivery that. She's got all her fielders up on the offside, and she's got fine leg and deep square back, so might have been a bit of a double bluff there. If I was the batter, I'd be just slightly thinking I was going to get a shorter ball.
19 for 1. Wong in her second over. Wong to Dobson. It's in the air. The catch should be taken, and the catch will be taken. That's the second wicket. 19 for 2. And that was a simple catch in the end for Laura Harris. A frustrating moment for Durham as Dobson has to depart.
Yeah, disappointing there for Dobson. That she should have been expecting that ball with that field, and she hasn't quite got hold of that one. That ends disappointing stay for her. Got off the mark with a glorious 6 over mid-off. But Durham, having won the toss, are now 19 for 2 with 1 ball remaining in the third over. Holly Armitage, the captain, strides to the wicket.
Not the debut Dobson would have wanted. And now a big responsibility comes to Holly Armitage, the captain, who has a big job of rebuilding the innings here and putting a competitive total on the board. Ahead of the game, we were saying around 150-ish, and at this stage that obviously looks quite far off.
Looks a good pitch.
Definitely. And Armitage will have to put in a good score. I mean, although Durham lost to Surrey, Armitage scored her maiden half-century in the blast, 50 not out, as Wong is continuing. Armitage on strike, and she defends that one to start proceedings. So Villiers on 11 and Armitage yet to get off the mark. 19 for 2 at the end of 3 overs.
Yeah, Durham really don't want to lose another wicket in the power play, but know that they need to keep scoring. This is a good pitch and a fast outfield. Looks like we're going to have a change from the Lumley end. See some spin.
I think it'll be Caris Pavley coming into the attack for Warwickshire, who she's mainly been effective with the bat so far. Did take 1 for 26 against the Blaze.
Sweepers out on both sides. Left arm around the wicket. This is driven away, and we'll find the sweeper out in the deep on the offside. So Villiers with that early chance. Looks like she's striking the ball nicely. Moves on to 12. Durham 20 now for 2. Lots of arm waving going on, and they just settle on exactly the field that they had before. Long on had originally gone out there for Armitage, but they settle on the sweepers at both sides, square of the wicket. Armitage drives nicely, but can't beat Harris in the covers. Big character, as we mentioned pre-show. She definitely came off against Durham in, I think it was the first game of the season. Armitage sweeps and sweeps fine, and that will run away for 4 runs. Nice shot from Armitage. Just got the line she wanted and helped it on its way around the corner.
An effort from Wong in the field, chasing after that ball, but does go all the way for 4. You mentioned Laura Harris, and yeah, she's a good signing for Warwickshire, it would be fair to say. 55 from 21 against Durham in that first game.
Armitage tucks this one away into the leg side and will pick up a single. Yeah, she's all action, isn't she? She's a big character in the game. I can imagine somebody that you'd love to share the dressing room with if you were part of the Bears unit. Villiers cuts and cuts nicely. She should come back for 2. She has a look and there's a fumble, and she does put the pressure on the fielder. Well done. Good running.
Good work between the wickets. Precisely what Durham will need to do if they can't necessarily play those risky shots and, you know, the risk of losing wickets. If they can be fast between the wickets, just gets that total up slowly.
This one's whipped away into the leg side. Good bit of bottom hand work from Villiers. That's going to end over number 4, 9 from it. 20, where are we? 28 for 2.
Yeah, decent over from a Durham perspective. Added some runs to the board, and it just has given the opportunity for Armitage to kind of settle into a rhythm a little bit, with Villiers at the other end, who looks in good touch so far today.
Georgia Davis going to give Izzy Wong a 3rd over. Really looking to try and get that 3rd wicket in the power play.
Wong returning. And that's been struck really nicely once again from Villiers. It goes all the way for 4. It's identical to the shot we saw in Wong's previous over. That's just really, really nice on the offside. That one, I think, was struck with a little bit more oomph than the previous one. But same result. 32 for 2, with Villiers now moving to 19. Wong just making some adjustments in the field now. Protecting that boundary where Villiers has previously struck, as Wong is now back into the attack. Villiers poised and defended into the pitch. Wong quick to pick up the ball.
She's full of energy, Izzy Wong.
Wong heading back to her mark. I mean, you say full of energy. She also chose her shirt number because of Lightning McQueen, the car from Cars. So
got you.
I think if that's any representation of energy levels, then she is very energetic, as many fast bowlers are, to be fair, as Wong in again with Villiers poised.
What
this
a
one
shot.
Onto the leg side, and it goes all the way for 4. Once again, well timed, well struck, and no chance for the fielders.
Yeah, apologies there, just came out there. What a shot that was. Picked up length really quickly to hit that. Well, it's not a big gap between mid-on, and Laura Harris is very straight at mid-wicket. Outstanding batting from Maddie Villiers.
Wong has conceded 8 in this over so far. To Villiers once again. This one defended tentatively. No run available. 36 for 2. Villiers on 23 and Armitage on 5. I think Armitage will be keen to get back on strike at some point. She's been stuck at the non-strikers end a bit, with Villiers flying away with those boundaries.
Relatively risk-free boundaries as well from Durham's point of view, which is good.
Wong past the umpire. This one driven. They'll scramble through for a single. Oof. It was going to be a close one. It's a good throw by Georgia Davis, who I think it was actually potentially here, or maybe it was at Edgbaston where she did 2 direct hits. One of them was completely irrelevant, but it was a really nice throw from far out, so she's an accurate fielder. So it's dangerous to be taking those runs a little bit, but they were safe in the end.
Said risk-free a bit early there, Holly, I think.
Wong into the attack and just through to Nat Wraith, who has got the gloves for Warwickshire today. So end of the over, 5 overs gone, 37 for 2.
Yeah, just starting to build a partnership, these two. It's important, especially from Durham's point of view, that they continue to build. What you don't want to do is constantly rebuild, and I think that's where Durham have struggled this year. They've lost wickets constantly throughout their 20 over innings. Never had that big killer partnership.
Interestingly, Nat Wraith with the gloves today instead of Abby Freeborn, who I think must be injured. She is here today, but not in the squad.
Change of bowling here, and this is swept away. Holly Armitage putting pressure on. I'm not sure she read the misfield, but that will run away for 4, and a bit of a face plant there. All effort, but will be very disappointed that she's let that one through.
Yeah, Millie Taylor diving over the boundary there.
Can't question her commitment there. Davis is the new bowler. Right arm around the wicket. This one is whipped away again. It's just wide of mid-on. It's picked up cleanly out in the deep. Just be the single. Costly drop so far. Maddie Villiers looking good. Armitage looks to sweep, and a bit of a mix-up. Oh, and a little flick at the stumps.
I was quite surprised they started going for the run there. It was a bit of a scramble for Armitage to get back in the end.
Just a little bit early on that one, drags it back to the bowler.
Georgia Davis, the Bears captain, who took 3 for 27 against Durham in that first game, and then 3 for 12 against Somerset, so it's
Good
in
form.
decent nick, yeah.
Armitage punches that one off the back foot down to long on. And we'll pick up a single. Last ball of the power play coming up. A pretty reasonable recovery from these two. 2 early wickets down. And a play and a miss. That will end over number 6 and end the power play. And Durham are on 43 for 2, with Maddie Villiers on 29 and Holly Armitage on 6.
I don't think that's a bad power play by any means. I think obviously Maddie Villiers being on 29 now from 18, you know, she's the in batter, and I think if she can continue and go on to get a decent score for Durham, then, you know, that's going to be really helpful. Obviously you've got Holly Armitage at the other end, so that can only be in Durham's favour. I think the thing that will be difficult is the disposal of bowlers that the Bears have. They've got so many options, as we can see Hannah Baker coming on now with leg spin. She's just one of the many options that the Bears have in their locker.
Umpire Widdop just signalling the second power play.
Baker in now. That's been scooped, but it goes towards square leg just for the 1 run.
Yeah, trying to get that one a lot finer there, Armitage. Kept her head in a really good position, though, to make contact. So, safe single.
44 for 2. Villiers on strike as Baker's in. Tries to have a slash at that and Won't get any run for it. Doesn't make full contact with the ball in the way she'd have wanted.
Yeah, maybe just skid it on a little bit, that one.
Baker, interaction. This has gone in the air. Davina Perrin is chasing it. It will fall short just inside the ring. So a lot of excitement for a ball that just plugs in the ground.
The perfect club, really. Landed in front of 3 fielders. Another let off for Villiers.
Baker to Villiers. This one leg side, but no run. This is good from Hannah Baker. Just 2 conceded so far. Baker taking a few steps. As this one's guided towards the boundary. There'll be Karis Pavley to stop it. So it'll just be a single. Nice tight bowling here. 46 for 2. Baker in again. Attempted sweep. But there'll be no run on offer. And
a long way across the stumps there, didn't she, Polly?
And it's the end of the over. 46 for 2. So a very good over from a Bears perspective, and Hannah Baker effective economically so far, with Villiers on 30 from 21 and Armitage 8 from 11. 7 overs gone, 13 remain. And we're going to see Millie Taylor deployed, I think. Who
more
is,
changes.
Yeah, she is a left arm leg spinner, which is incredibly rare.
Love it.
And she's made her Bears debut in the Vitality Blast a couple of games ago. So relatively new to senior cricket.
She tosses this one up and it's swept away out into the deep, and it'll just be a single. Very tall action. Lots of support and chat for her out in the field. Reverse sweep attempted, and this finds the gap. Not perfectly timed, but Villiers will pick up a couple.
Millie Taylor spent the winter working quite a bit with Jake Lintop, because obviously they bowl the same way. They have slightly different actions, but it's obviously such a rare skill and type of bowling that it's really good that she's got someone else within the club.
Villiers advancing. Yeah, absolutely right. It is a difficult skill, probably the hardest skill in the game to bowl leg spin. So to be able to call on the likes of Jake Lintott, who's burst on the scene a couple of years ago and had real success. And that is the beauty of having these Tier 1 franchises now, is that you do have one club together as the 50 comes up for Durham. Armitage sweeps and sweeps out to the sweeper on the leg side. Seen a lot of crossover from the Durham lads and lasses over the winter. Been working hard together. Sharing skills, ideas and thoughts, which is really good. Advancing down, not quite timing that one. They're thinking about 2, but will only get the single. As Perrin does the fielding out in the deep.
I noticed on the scoreboard it says MSL Taylor, and I think that's because her identical twin sister is called Mary. So if you put M Taylor, you're not actually sure who it is until you see them bolt.
That one will be a wide down the leg side. Oh, there you go.
Her sister, who's at Hampshire now, so both of the players came through Sussex and then the Vipers, with Millie making the move to the Midlands.
Armitage advancing and whipping that one into the leg side. They'll settle for the single. That ends the over. A run off every ball plus a wide. So another nice little over there for Durham, just creeping along nicely. They're 54 for 2 now. This partnership is just starting to build.
Yeah, good work from Villiers, who obviously is kind of creeping towards the milestone. She's 34 from 24. Durham getting the 50 up in that over as well. So positive things, especially after those early 2 wickets of Leah Dobson and Susie Bates. It'll be Hannah Baker, who is back from the Finkel end. This one kind of scooped. It's going to go towards the boundary. A fielder racing round. It won't be cut off in the end, so it does go for 4. And that's a boundary for the captain, Holly Armitage.
Yeah, that's the one she tried first ball, wasn't it? Managed to get probably the toe of the bat on it, but she got lots more bat and got the angle that she wanted. And again, testament to this outfield, that raced away for 4.
Yeah, much finer than that first ball. And as you say, that the outfield seems really fast because there wasn't tons of power on it as Baker's in. She plays the same shot, but that's bowled up. She attempts to scoop it again and get another boundary. But Hannah Baker is effective. And that's another wicket gone for Durham. The captain has to go. Armitage dismissed for 15.
Got to give credit to the bowler and the captain there. Have been very easy to change the field after that last ball, but they've probably identified that there is risk in that shot. And Armitage has attempted it for the 3rd time. This time she's missed it. And it cannons into leg stump and gets an important breakthrough that for Warwickshire. So the Bears pick up their 3rd. Armitage goes, and that brings Bess Heath to the crease.
It's a risky shot to play, and obviously the previous ball it was successful. That first ball it wasn't so successful. But against Hannah Baker, I think it is a risky shot. She's a little bit unpredictable in terms of where the ball may turn. So playing that is, a risky one. And obviously in this case, didn't pay off. Bess Heath now coming to the crease, who, as you mentioned pre-show, she's kind of finding a little bit of form and getting into a bit of rhythm. So 45.
She will sweep and reverse sweep as well.
As Baker's in, and there'll be no run. Dav Perrin picking it up. But 45 against the Bears. So 58 for 3. Baker in.
Wow.
And that wraps her on the pads.
Bit of turn there. And a bit of bounce from the leg spin.
Baker at the top of her mark, with Heath having faced 2 balls already. This one pushed into the offside, but no run available. So very effective from Hannah Baker.
Yeah, it's been an excellent start.
Obviously went for 4 that first ball and then dismissed Holly Armitage. 3 dots since. As she's in again. Slightly more expansive on the offside, but we'll just get 1. So that's the end of the over. 59 for 3. And 9 overs gone, 11 remain. Villiers on 34 from 24, and Bess Heath, the new batter, 1 from 4.
Yeah, it's important that Villiers keeps getting the strike here. What she doesn't want to do is feel isolated down the other end while Heath goes about her work. So she's 34 from 24, Maddie Villiers. Bess Heath just off the mark there from her 4th ball. Very good player. One of my favourites, if I'm honest. I really like what she has to offer. Wicket-keeper batsman. Ellis into the attack. That's driven out to the sweeper on the offside.
As I mentioned, just so many different bowling options, especially for T20 cricket. It is so useful to have such a variety.
This one's driven over mid-off. It's a glorious shot. Will it plug or will it run away? It's going to plug. And they'll pick up a couple. But nice batting. Brave batting as well in the circumstances.
Good fielding in pairs as well. I think that's Georgia Davis and Laura Harris.
Yeah, you mentioned that Ellis is the 7th bowler used today by the Bears. And what that does for Georgia Davis, it gives her options at the back end of the innings. If the pitch is turning or if the pitch is coming on, she can use pace or spin. This one's a thick leading edge from Villiers. So even if it's just one over, that works, and you can keep changing it, and then you're unable to line up that bowler. And then as a batting unit, you actually, most of the time, you can pretty much predict who's coming, who's left, and who'll bowl what overs. But at the moment, there's plenty of cards up the Bears' sleeves. A good Yorker and nicely taken behind the stumps. Just had a little check-in on the World Test Championship. Australia 183 for 5. Bo Webster bringing up 50 and Alex Carey 20 not out. Steve Smith, the last man out, caught Janssen bowled Markram. It's driven to mid-off and sets off immediately. And putting the field under pressure, they're going to pick up a second run due to the misfield. It's good work from Bess Heath.
Yeah, good decision making and a poor bit of fielding. From a Bears perspective, I think the ball bobbled a little bit. 65 for 3.
That's just back of a length. It's pulled away one bounce. Out to Perrin in the deep. So at the halfway stage, where are we? 66 on the board for 3. Maddie Villiers leading the charge for Durham on 37. Hasn't had a lot of strike recently. And Bess Heath's on 5. Who do you think will be the happier of the two sides at the moment, Paul?
I think I'd say the Bears. Obviously, they got those 2 early wickets up top, and I think getting rid of Armitage as well was a really important turning point, because I think she could have really built something with Villiers and taken the game away. At the same time, I think Heath coming in is really good. You've got 2 relatively experienced batters, and obviously Villiers looks really set at the moment. We know Bess can hit big, so and I think she'll want to do that as the innings progresses, just to get it up to a competitive total. As we see Georgia Davis coming in round the wicket. That's been nudged nicely. It's going to head towards the boundary. Well fielded from the Bears. So they'll just get the 1, because that looked like it could race away for 4.
Yeah, it was good fielding, good chase.
They get 2 in the end, actually. So 68 for 3. Davis in again. And once again, down to 3rd. This time, goes all the way for 4.
Yeah, I think you're seeing extra fielder coming across on the offside now, because Bess Heath does reverse sweep really well. She's a typical wicketkeeper, hits the ball in awkward areas. I don't know if you saw any highlights earlier in the season of Durham's super over win, where Bess basically batted left-handed in that super over to win the game, as well as taking a couple of stumpings, actually.
Yeah, got it wrapped up. I think it was in 3 balls.
Yeah.
My dad texted me actually during the super over, said Bess Heath will get this done in 3 balls, and she did that. So I asked him what the lottery numbers were. But, you know.
Pass them on.
Yeah, as Davis in again to Heath, who hits big, and that's going to go all the way for 4. 1 bounce and 4. Hannah Baker couldn't get there in time, and that's another boundary for Durham. It's like they've seen the halfway mark and think, okay, we're going to really go on the charge here.
Yeah, I think Heath's naturally aggressive player, and what she's done there, she's manipulated the field really well. She's hit a couple of boundaries on, well, not a couple of boundaries, she hit a boundary on the offside and then managed to get one away square on the leg side. Just puts the bowler under pressure. 10 off 3 balls.
Davis to Heath. Just pushes that into the offside for 1. .77 for 3. Georgia Davis in her second over. So far having gone for 17 runs. Villiers poised. This one slashed down the ground. Will be fielded by Karis Pavley on the leg side.
I'll tell you what, she did well there, Pavley. She got to the ball quickly and got rid of it. She was running around to her right-hand side, being a left-handed thrower. There was a slight potential for 2 there, but Villiers probably hit the ball too well. But good fielding out in the deep.
Davis in. Push into the offside, beats the diving fielder. Izzy Wong racing round and will stop it on the boundary. Good fielding, good recovery for the Bears. So end of the over, 80 for 3. 11 overs gone, 9 overs remaining.
Yeah, 14 from that over. Really good one. And again, you would have to say relatively risk-free batting. But Bess Heath's innings underway now. And what you want is this partnership to go deep into the back end of the innings and have one of these 2 batters still in overs 19 and 20.
Very much so. And as you say, quite risk-free batting. There's been a lot on the ground. There's been some decent running as well. So if they can maintain this partnership, that's what's going to get them to the competitive total.
Got Emma Harlott back into the attack. Davis able to call on one of her most experienced campaigners. And importantly, one of the most informed players probably on the circuit at the moment. Villiers walks down a good bit of fielding there. Just a single. This is where Villiers can just change gears a little bit and maybe just try and feed the strike back to Heath while she's going, and it might just turn around at some stage in the partnership. But Bess Heath's on a little run here. She's moved on to 18 from 13. Picked up 2 boundaries in the last over. She gets a Yorker. Thought about a single. Thought better of it. .81 for 3, Durham. This is short. This is pulled away out into the deep, into the gap. And it will run away for 4. It's great batting from Bess Heath. Dragged down from Arlo and put away for 4.
Yeah, there was an effort from Wong. Perrin in the end even.
Yeah, it split them well, didn't it? Strong shot that from Bess Heath. Probably not perfectly timed, but no stopping it. She runs down the wicket this time. Tries to clear mid-on, but drags it out to Perrin at deep mid-wicket. It'll just be the single. This is what Durham will want now. They'll want to try and get a boundary in every over. Up until the point where they really try and put the foot down to close out the innings.
Yeah, just prevent the Bears from putting the squeeze on for too long, and, you know, if at all.
And that will be a wide down the leg side. Villiers just moving around in the crease a little bit, possibly putting Arlo off. Mid-off and cover up in the circle, mid-on dropping back. So Villiers is thinking anything up on the offside, she's going to try and hit over mid-off. Instead she goes to the leg side, but again we'll pick out Perrin in the deep. So 8 off this over so far, 1 ball remaining. You always look first and last balls of the over. Heath backs away and hits that one through. Extra cover off the back foot. And that will take some stopping. In fact, it will run away for a boundary. Really good batting from Durham. And is this the partnership that propels them to a big total?
Yeah, an expensive over for the Bears, but precisely what Durham needed. And Villiers and Heath just both look really comfortable at the crease, and they're building a really good partnership. Villiers now on 40, Heath on 27 from 17. So decent strike rates. And Georgia Davis will have to come up with a plan to stop this. Her first port of call, Hannah Baker, who so far 1 wicket, 8 runs from her 2 overs, so probably the most economic bowler of the lot so far.
Partnership at 34 from 22.
Baker to Villiers, strikes that back down the ground, and that's going to race away for 4. Lovely shot just over the head of Hannah Baker.
Yeah, I like it. Good intent. First ball of the over puts the bowler back under pressure. Hitting hard, hitting straight. Excellent batting from Maddie Villiers, who hasn't had a lot of the strike recently, but moves on to 44.
96 for 3 as Baker's in again. This one swept. They go for 1. They won't go for the second.
She's got an excellent arm, hasn't she, Pavley?
Yeah, really, really strong player. And you can see that in her batting. Just so much power. Baker in. There's an appeal, and that's given. That will be so frustrating for Durham. Bess Heath has to go for 27 from 17. And Hannah Baker strikes again. A second wicket for Hannah Baker. LBW.
Yeah, it's a real strength of Baker's bowling stump to stump. You saw a bowl Armitage earlier on. That one just got a little bit full on Bess Heath. It batted nicely. She goes for 27 from 18. The worry for Durham is, are these little, probably a bit more than a cameo, but are they going to be enough to build the total that they can defend?
What you've got to remember as well is who the Bears have in their batting lineup, and we've mentioned Laura Harris. I think just mentioning her name would make any team a bit worried, but you've also got Dav Perrin, who scored 87, I think, in the first game.
Yep.
You've also got the likes of Karis Pavley, who I mentioned is a dangerous batter, and Izzy Warren can hit a couple of sixes too, so they've got a lot of strength there.
Yeah, having somebody like Harris in the opposition almost makes you feel like you probably want to score 15 to 20 more than you actually need. That brings its own battles.
Baker in again to Mia Rogers, the new batter. We'll get off the mark. First ball. Baker in again, reverse sweep, we'll just get the 1 run. Maddie Villiers now on strike. Rogers got 25 against Surrey, so a decent score there, and if she can do that and go on further today, that'll be very useful, as Baker's in and this one's been swept. Will be fielded on the boundary. So 99 for 4, 13 overs gone, 7 overs remain. Villiers moves to 46 from 33 and Rogers 1 from 1.
Yeah, pick of the bowlers so far today for me. Baker bowled nicely, bowled straight. And if the Durham batters have missed it, Hannah Baker's hit the stumps or hit Bess Heath right on the back pad in front of middle. 2 for 15, her figures from 3 overs. This is going to be 1 over for Arlo, and we're going to see Pavley back into the attack. Her first over going for 9. This one's short and skids on a little bit. Beating an attempted cut from Villiers. So tempted to say De Villiers all the time. This one's hit strong and hit down the ground. It goes for 4 and brings up a well-deserved half-century for Maddie Villiers. She's played really well. She's been the backbone of this innings. And she raises her bat to the warm applause from this Banks Homes Riverside crowd and her teammates.
A really important knock by Maddie Villiers, bringing up her 50. It's been quick, but it's been measured as well.
And that one is through the gap and will go away for 4 more. And that will bring up the 100 for Durham. I was a bit nervous as that one was in the air. It was catchable height, but pierced the gap between mid-off and extra cover. And this is where Durham need Maddie Villiers to go on and score 75, score 80, and push them to a big total.
I think Pavley may have slightly slipped as she released the ball. So perhaps not placed exactly where she wanted.
She's going to try over the wicket now. Villiers gets across the stumps and slaps that back. Pavley does well to get down and stop that. 107 for 4, Durham. Couple of balls remaining in the over number 14. This one's wide outside the off stump. She thinks about a reverse sweep. Ends up leaving it. Bit of a strange bit of cricket. Probably did it with the pace, I think. Villiers sweeps this one square and she'll pick up a couple with a good bit of running. So 10 off the over. Another good over for Durham. And what that'll do is that'll help Rogers settle in as well. She got to watch all of that from the non-striker's end. And her job from now will be to get Maddie Villiers back on strike.
Yeah, 6 overs remain, and I want to press on a bit. They've surpassed the 100 total, which is a good milestone, but as we mentioned at the start of the stream, 150 is more total they'll be aiming for.
Yeah.
151 is the highest that Durham have scored in the competition so far, and 141 they scored against Surrey last week.
I've covered a lot of men's cricket here, and 150 are in the game.
Baker in, and this one's pushed into the offside for 1 run.
That's good batting from Rogers as well, getting Villiers back on strike.
The Bears, on the other hand, in a losing cause, they scored 157 against Lancs as Baker's in, turned round the corner for no run, beat Somerset scoring 172, and then of course against Durham scored 193.
Yeah.
So they're capable of those big totals, and they've scored some big ones in the 50 over comp too. Baker's in, this one goes behind, racing away very straight towards the boundary. And that goes all the way for 4.
Little top edge. I thought it had bowled her at first, I'm not going to lie. We saw that with Armitage earlier, didn't we? She got across the stumps. That one, she's just got a little top edge. I'd like to see Villiers try and, again, hit straight down the ground. There's a big gap between long on and long off. She's had some success there.
Baker to Villiers, chipped in the air, falls safely on the leg side. Pavley running in.
Keep your hands warm, that one. Hannah Baker.
115 for 4. Georgia Davis moves herself inside the ring with Em Arlott on the boundary as Baker's in once again, and good decision by Davis to bring herself inside the ring. Baker, who's taken 2 wickets so far to date, pushed into the offside. Bethan Ellis firing that back in. And that will be the end of the over, so a quieter one. 116 for 4. Still 7 from it.
Yeah, that ends the 4 overs from Hannah Baker, who's been outstanding. 2 for 22 from her 4. So Durham will be relieved to see the back of her. But she's done a very good job for the Bears.
Yeah, she's bowled very well. Obviously taken key wickets. Getting Holly Armitage for 15 and then Bess Heath for 27. Key points in the game. I think Bethan Ellis will be coming back into the attack for the Bears, having bowled 1 over, gone for 7 runs.
Yeah, it looks like she tried to take the pace off quite a lot of the deliveries that she bowled. That first over, keeper standing up. And that's a gorgeous shot, that by Mia Rogers. It'll go 1 bounce into the sight screen for 4. That's the way to start an over.
Yeah, she's got a big grin on her face after that one. That was as you say, a good way to start the over. And as we get to the back end of the innings, a good way to press on as Durham reach 120.
Brings a change in the field. Deep square leg coming up and long off going back. So protection straight down the ground. It looks like the Bears are quite happy to concede a single. Most of the field is now right on the discs. Gone into massive defensive mode now, as you would expect towards the back end of the innings, trying to squeeze Durham as much as possible, stopping them from scoring boundaries. And they'll be looking, they'll be thinking, we want to keep them under 150, 160 here. Villiers goes across his stumps and it's hit in the air. Oh, and it checks in the outfield. I thought for a moment that was going to be straight to Perrin. But she picks up another couple. Who's under 63 now, Maddie Villiers. This is the innings that Durham fans have been waiting for. .63 from 43. 9 fours to a name. Again, she goes across the stumps. Unable to make contact there. She's trying to get that away square on the leg side. There's no protection. There you've got fine leg and square leg in the circle. So if she can beat either of those fielders, she'll pick up a 4. But clever bowling from Ellis, bowling it wide outside the off stump. Oh, and that is hit hard back to Villiers. And an excellent effort from Ellis, sticking out the left hand, unable to cling on. And Durham somehow scrambled through for a single.
Yeah, went into her hand and just kind of popped out. But, you know, she recovered quickly and tried to get it to the keeper's end as fast as possible. So good intent from the Bears. 124 for 4.
Oh, and that might be a no ball. Yep. Got a no ball on height for a full toss over the waist. And this will be a free hit. And a I mean, that's not dangerous, is it? But it per the rules, it is a warning.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's going to get hurt from that. But free hit for Mia Rogers. And she carves that away out into the offside, but it will find Pavely out in the deep. So a pretty good result in the end from that one. 125 for 4 Durham. 4 overs left.
Durham have done well to get to this total, I think, after those early 2 wickets, particularly Bates going so early on. It was a little bit nervy to what Durham could actually do. But, you know, they are 126 for 4. It's decent. They've got 4 overs left. I think now is the time that they press on a little bit and they can play some more risky shots. They've got two batters there who are capable of big hitting. Villiers very comfortably on 64 from 45. Arlott will be deployed for the Bears, bringing some slightly faster seam bowling. She's bowled 2 overs, gone for 21 runs. But as we saw in the England series against the West Indies, certainly a wicket-taking threat. She's into the attack now, swapping ends. Rogers preempts that and she's bowled 126 for 5 now, as Arlott is instantly effective. A great decision by Georgia Davis to bring Arlott back into the attack. And Durham find themselves 5 down. They had to go big, but there was a swing at that. And Arlott gets her first wicket of the day.
Yeah, clever bowling. She's been in form. That was an out the back of the hand slower ball that defeated Mia Rogers. All ends up. She goes for 9. Durham 126 for 5 brings Catherine Fraser to the crease. It's important, like you said, that they continue. You want to be trying to score in these last 4 overs, 10 runs per over. And if they do that, Durham will get above 160, which I think on this pitch will put a bit of pressure on the Bears.
Very much so. As we say, Catherine Fraser coming to the crease now. Arlott starting her over with a wicket. Her 3rd over in the game so far. Fraser awaiting as Arlott in past the umpire. This one struck into the offside. It's racing towards the boundary and that goes all the way for 4. Great way to start.
Yeah, it's probably the area you can't afford to bowl with that field, short and wide. And Fraser, they tried Fraser at the top of the order. A little bit of experimentation there, Durham. So more than capable with the bat and more than capable of putting that one away for 4.
$130 for 5. Arlott interaction.
Oh, in the head.
Yeah. There'll have to be a concussion test as per the protocols. So we'll have a short pause in play.
Good bouncer.
Yeah.
Don't see the bouncer often in the women's game, and that was an excellent bouncer from the tall Emma Arlott. And hit Catherine Fraser right in the helmet.
So Villiers on 64 from 45. Fraser 4 from 2. Having scored a boundary first ball. Arlott bowling. Having taken 1 wicket at the first ball of this over. Dismissing Mia Rogers for 9.
Nice touch from him as well, going over and just checking on the well-being of Catherine Fraser, who appears to be fine. Having a bit of a laugh and a joke around it. Right on the vitality badge, I think, that one.
I will say in Taunton, in the 3rd ODI between England and West Indies, there was a similar incident with Emma Arlott bowling. I think it was a bouncer again and slightly hurt one of the players who was down, again having to console her.
All looks to be well for Fraser. Got off the mark first ball with a lovely 4, and then Arlott just decides to remind her that she's in a contest with an excellent bouncer, hitting her right in the melon.
So 135 as play resumes. Arlott in to Fraser, expansive again on the offside. Izzy Wong trying to cut it off, but it goes for 4. That's a great response from Fraser. Not afraid to take on the England international.
Yeah, fast hands there, Polly. Again, got the width that she wanted. Not sure if they'd be better off just changing the field a little bit and bringing that sweeper a lot squarer on the offside.
Arlott in, struck down the ground. It will find Karis Pavley. That was strong from Fraser.
It was an excellent shot picking out, as you said, Pavley out in the deep. Well, 3 out of the 4 balls have been right out the middle of Fraser's bat, and the other one was right out the middle of her head. 135 for 5. I hope you're enjoying the coverage here at the Banks Homes Riverside. You can like and subscribe Durham Cricket's YouTube page. You'll be notified of all of our live streams and any interviews that we take place across the year.
Arlott in, and this was just flicked off the pads by Villiers. We'll rotate the strike, so end of the over, so hogs the strike in fact. 17
Perfect.
overs gone, 3 overs remain. Villiers on 65 from 46, so in fine form, and Fraser 9 from 4.
Yeah, 136 on the board now, just 3 overs remaining, and Villiers is still at the crease on 65. Can she put a dent in another one of these overs? That last over going again for 10. That's what Durham will be aiming for each of the last 3 overs. If they can manage that, that will take them up to 166. And a pretty formidable total here. Have Ellis back into the attack. In fact, I don't think it is it? The captain. And Villiers runs down and hits that one out to deep mid-wicket, where it's a good bit of fielding. Fraser turns and comes back, and she'll be... Oh, she should have been run out. Excellent running, good scrambling at this stage of the innings. You're probably looking for every run you can and to keep Villiers on strike. And they'll pick up a pretty frantic 2. That's swept away and swept hard out into the deep, but straight to Izzy Wong, who will do the fielding. Brings Fraser on strike. Oh, and that one somehow misses the leg stump.
We spoke about it earlier with Bears' options, but actually at the back end of this innings, the only bowler who's bowled all their overs has been Hannah Baker.
Yeah.
So Georgia Davis has many options at her disposal.
That's a shot. That's 6. That is a beautiful strike from Maddie Villiers coming down. And there's just something about the bat flow. As soon as that ball made contact, it was 6. Glorious, glorious shot from Maddie Villiers.
She made it look easy.
It was effortless, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Such a beautiful bat swing.
146 for 5, and we said 150 was the sweet spot, but it looks like they're going to go above that with just over 2 overs remaining.
She sweeps and sweeps fine, and she'll pick up another boundary. Maddie Villiers is playing the innings that Durham have wanted all summer. She's taking this innings deep, and she's making a meaningful contribution. She moves on to 72 now. Brings up a 10th 4 to go along with that 6. And Durham are 150 on the board. And the sun's out. There's a nice healthy crowd in here at the Banks Homes Riverside. And this is good cricket from the home team. Davis now going to come back over the wicket to finish off the over. And Villiers gets nothing but the toe of her bat. And she'll pick up another single. So what have we got from that one? 15 off that over. Really good from Durham. And now if they get 10 off each of the last 2, they're going to be pushing 170, which is a formidable total.
This is brilliant stuff from Durham, and Maddie Villiers obviously top scoring in this game, but I think this will be the highest score in the Vitality Blast by a Durham women's
Yeah,
player.
I think Susie Bates got 60,
Yeah, Susie Bates got
63
six,
maybe.
I think 65.
Well, I'll
have a
go
look.
with you. I'll believe you. The Durham lads in the house supporting the girls, which is always good to see. Up there on the balcony, as they prepare to take on Derbyshire Falcons at 6:30 tonight.
Yeah, it was 65 actually versus the Bears.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Armitage got 50 against Surrey. So this is a huge total for Maddie Villiers, as Caris Pavley is going to come back into the attack to bowl her third over. So far, 2 overs bowled, gone for 19 runs. Slice down the ground, but we'll just find the fielder inside the ring. 152 for 5.
Izzy Wong still has 1 over remaining, as does Arla.
Pavley in again. Wong this time fielding. The
Seems
debate
to have
going.
recovered a little bit, doesn't she? From that
Yeah, she was
limping
hobbling.
earlier,
Yeah, it was a little bit concerning early on, especially as she got a little bit hurt from fielding and then was having to bowl and bowl. Pavley attempted reverse sweep.
Yeah, good pace on the ball there. I've enjoyed watching Pavley bowl. She's really mixed up her work. That one fired in just maybe a little bit too quick for Villiers, who was just looking to get a scratch on that.
To Villiers.
Wow.
Goes over the hands and head of Pavley, who dives out to try and get anything on it. Just plug in the ground.
It's a hell of a stop, that. That definitely saved a boundary. Nearly brought about the wicket.
154 for 5 as Pavley's in. Chopped into the offside for 1. It's a really good penultimate over from Pavley so far. Just 4 conceded and a dot ball, which is rare in the 19th over.
Yeah, Durham will be looking for a boundary to finish off this over. And get one. Beautiful strike from Villiers, getting to that one on the full. And putting it away through extra cover. Moves her into 85. Catherine Fraser's been more than useful. 11 in this partnership. And again, that last ball of the over just probably, Saywood shaves it to Durham. So where are we? 159 for 5. Durham will be looking to try and get one last big over. But Maddie Villiers played superbly well. I think it will be Emma Arlott to have the last over. Partnership 34 from just 17 balls. Sorry, 33. Apologies. .85 from 55, Villiers. Fraser 11 from 7. Just trying to protect that square boundary with Fraser on strike. Lots of arm wavings and lots of field placements changing. But Harlow eventually in now. She bowls that one. Oh. For me, just outside the guideline. But the umpire decides that it wasn't a wide. I have to check my eyes. Might have to have a look at it. Little one there. It was just outside, but I guess Fraser just came across in her stance a little bit, so umpire deciding that the guideline moves with the stance. And again, beats the bat. Hitting a hard length that time. 159 for 5. Can Durham squeeze a couple of boundaries in the last over just to create some more momentum going into the break. Oh, it's 3 plays and misses in a row. 3 dots. Good from the Bears. Really good work this from Armour. This one's driven, but driven down the ground. It'll just be the single. That gets Villiers back onto strike. She's on 85. Fraser moves to 12. That brings up 160 for Durham. I'm sure that before the start of play would have really settled for 160. But can Villiers do a little bit more damage off the last couple of balls now? And she tries to reverse, and not sure if she's got any bat on that whatsoever, as it just trickles away into the offside. It will be a leg bye. So the Bears will be very, very happy with this last over. Last ball of the innings, Durham, 161 for 5. A really competitive total. But will they rue this last over in the wash-up of the game? And it's another play and miss. It'll be a bye as Maddie Villiers runs through. What a brilliant last over that is. Just one run off the bat and a couple of extras. Durham finished their 20 overs on 162 for 5. It didn't get off to a great start with Susie Bates going in the first over, knocked over by Izzy Wong with one that nipped back off the seam. Leah Dobson got off the mark with a 6, but she was soon to follow, going for 8. Caught by Laura Harris off the bowling of Wong. Holly Armitage then tried to sweep Hannah Baker and was bowled round her legs for 15. Bess Heath was trapped right in front by Hannah Baker for 27. Mia Rogers came in, hit a 4 and perished for 9 as she was bowled by Emma Arlo off a lovely slow ball out the back of the hand. The star of the show from Durham's point of view was Maddie Villiers, who, as you can hear, is getting a right round of applause, finishing unbeaten on 85 from 56 deliveries, 11 fours and 1 6. The star of the show with the ball for me was Hannah Baker. She picked up 2 for 22 from her 4 overs. So the Bears will require 163 to win at just over 8 and over. And with that, I'm going to hand you over to Andy and Polly in the Daffa News studio.
Very, very much indeed. So a couple of things to celebrate then. That total from Durham, 162. The Bears chasing 163 for the win in the T20 Blast. They'll be back out in around about 10 minutes' time or so. So that's one thing to celebrate. The second thing to celebrate is not just making a commentary debut on Durham Live. Polly Starkey is making a punditry debut as well. Polly, let's get onto the cricket in a second, but the most important things first. How are you enjoying the Durham Live experience?
It's brilliant. Love the polo shirt. It's
excellent.
Great.
They are great, aren't
very
they?
fashionable piece of clothing. But yeah, great experience overall. I've loved over this season so far coming to Chester Street. Great part of the country. I love the Northeast, so it's great to be here.
Well, it's all right. Ash Thorpe's gone out, so you can say what you like about this. But what is it like working alongside the great man?
Nightmare to work with. No, he's great. He's great. Yeah, I've had really good fun. So we did a 50 over game, as you mentioned. So that was, I think, the first game of the season against Essex. So that was really fun. And obviously Durham had a big win over Essex here. So yeah, loads to celebrate. So it was great.
What he doesn't hear can't hurt him. Don't worry about that. Look, the cricket, we'll have to get you back more often if the Durham women can post totals like that. Because let's face it, after that start, how big a total is that, considering the start they got off to?
It's huge. It's their highest total in the Blast so far. I will say, most times I've been here, Durham have won. So
you're just angling for more gigs here now,
yeah,
aren't you?
I think I'm some sort of good luck charm or something. But yeah, that's a huge total by Durham, and obviously a lot of credit goes down to Maddie Villiers for that. She was exceptional and came in at a tricky time. Obviously losing Susie Bates so early on, and then Leah Dobson, who was on debut. That's difficult for a team to manage. But I just thought Durham did so well. They didn't go hard too early. I think they managed their innings really well. And posting a total like that, that's competitive. That's going to be difficult for the Bears. And against such a good bowling attack that the Bears unit are, I was so impressed with Durham.
I thought I sensed a touch of disappointment in Ash Thorpe's voice, because obviously pre-match I was asking him, what's a good total? What would you be going for? And after he, disregarded his glib answer of 400, Thanks, Ash. He settled on 150. Obviously, we've surpassed that. And like you say, Maddie Villiers is the person we need to talk about. She likes the Banks Homes Riverside. Cracking catch last week against Lancashire. Brilliant innings this time around. What was the main factor, do you think, behind that Maddie Villiers innings?
That's a really good question. I think for me, she's the all-round cricketer. So as you said, fielding-wise, I think she's one of the best fielders on the circuit. Bowling-wise, superb. I think batting is the part of her game that she's really been developing, and I've particularly noticed that this season. She's put good innings in the 50-over stuff, but 20-over stuff, she hasn't had a big score yet.
Yeah.
And she just went and surpassed what everyone else has done in the tournament so far. So, yeah, she's exceptional. And what she did today, as I say, it was measured. She did have a good strike rate, but she wasn't playing stupid shots. It wasn't completely risky. At the same time, it wasn't risk-free, but I think it was a really mature innings.
Like you say, the shot selection at times was it wasn't one of those innings where she just frees up her shoulders and you see sixes every other ball, fours every other ball. It was a really calm, considered, and dare I use the word mature innings from Maddie?
Yeah, it was technical, and I think that's what you really want to see from your players. Obviously, T20 cricket, a lot of people expect it just to be big hitting and all that sort of thing, but I thought Villiers played it really, really well. And yeah, as you say, mature innings, and she did the job at the end of the day, and she's got a team to a really good total, and that's precisely what Danny Hazel would have wanted ahead of today.
It's a scary thought, isn't it? You talk about Maddie being an all-rounder. I mean, is batting arguably, I hate to use this word, but I'm going to go ahead and use it anyway. Is batting arguably the weaker side of her game? And if so, how scary a prospect is that?
Well, exactly. I think traditionally that has been the weaker side of her game. And, when she was involved in the England setup, she was there for a bowling.
Yeah.
And she's tended to be in teams for a bowling. But as she's kind of come up the order over the years, just her batting game has come on so much. And since her move to Durham, actually, I've noticed a huge difference. And she is, the real complete cricketer now.
How much talent is there elsewhere in this? Because we saw little chips in there. Obviously, Beth Heath came in, and there was a really calm 27 or so, then obviously going. No one really stuck around with Maddie, but they were really just important chipping in scores, I would call them.
Yeah, I think especially towards the end, you saw what Catherine Fraser did. She knew that her job was kind of just to be at the other end and give the strike to Maddie. And she did that. She executed that perfectly. I think obviously Bess Heath, her innings was decent as well. And again, these players weren't kind of staying in for loads and having loads of dot balls at them. It was, okay, I'm going to go out and hit a four. When Fraser came in, she hit a 4 first ball. And I was like, fair play, that's really brave. But that's the sort of cricket that I'm sure Danny Hazel will want her players to be playing. And that's the sort of cricket that gets you to the totals that Durham have achieved today.
I love your casual positivity. I was through in the other room, just making my notes, and when Catherine hit that 4, I was like, oh, no, don't free up your shoulders, just stick up, hold at one end while Maddie does the thing at the other. But whatever they did, definitely worked. So, obviously, we talk about our talented batting lineup. We have to mention the Bears' talented batting lineup. You guys mentioned it on comms. There's a lot of firepower coming Durham's way in the next half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary. Laura Harris, to be fair, the one thing I will say about Laura Harris is obviously she can be so destructible, and Durham experienced that. She got a 50 off like 20 odd balls in that first game, but she's a little bit hit or miss. And I think with Durham's bowling attack, I think someone could get an early wicket, and if she will try those big shots really early on. She's not afraid to do that, so that's risky. That puts her in a difficult position. So I think if Durham can realise that and think, okay, we see this as an opportunity to take a wicket, to get her out, I think that could be quite interesting. But as you say, it's not just Laura Harris. They've got Davina Perrin, who's 18 years old and is just showing everyone up, and she's brilliant. And then down the order, they've got Nat Wraith, who got a decent score earlier in the week. And they do have a really good batting lineup. I will say, I think Bears are more of a bowling lineup, but actually their batting with Laura Harris now has been superb. Karis Pavley as well. I can't not mention her. She's so powerful, left-hander as well, and sometimes it's coming at the top of the order for left-hand, right-hand combo, but they're stacked. But I mean, I will say the total, I think it's competitive, it's good, and it's much more positive than we've seen from Durham in previous games.
I love how we kind of start off by talking and saying, it's the Bears bowling lineup that's going to be the strongest, and then effectively we've gone and named every single member of their starting lineup that could do damage here at the Banks Homes Riverside today. You talk about this total that Durham have kind of set 162, 163 for the win for the Bears if you are just joining us on Durham Live. Does it make Danny Hazel's talk a little bit easier in the sheds? Well, right about now, I would have said.
I think so. I think there are so many good things to take from the first part. I think for me, the total being the highest that Durham have scored in this competition is just something to really be celebrated. And that's something that takes a lot of time, and it's really difficult when you are losing a lot of games on the bounce. Obviously, yes, they did get that win over Hampshire, albeit by 1-run DLS and all that.
I'm glad you reminded me again it was a win after my slip up earlier. My God.
But it's really difficult to get back into that rhythm, and I know the kind of cliche phrase is winning's a habit, but it's really hard to get out of the habit of losing. So to get that total on the board, I think, is just a huge encouragement for the side. And it's about, we've put ourselves in probably the best position possible. Let's go and get the job done.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ashthorpe's just sitting back in his commentary chair after snaffling a few fruit pastels next door, I think, or whatever he's been snaffling next door. So that indicates we're only probably about a minute and a half, 2 minutes away from the two teams returning to the field. And I promised Polly, I said to the audience, the Durham Live audience pre-match, I said when we have Polly Starkey in the studio in the interval, we will be chatting to you about other things other than just the game today. And me and you, we were having a chat before the game even started, and obviously you went and covered the Women's Ashes, which we won't talk about the cricket from an England perspective, most certainly. But from your perspective, it was a pretty good tour, not just from actually going out and working the Women's Ashes, but actually spending time in Australia. What the heck were you getting up to away from the cricketing side of things as well?
Yeah, it was the best time of my life. I was saying to you earlier that I just thought, I've never been to Australia before, and I've got a month here. I'm just going to seize every opportunity. So if there was a game in the evening, so it was the Canberra T20, I was like, I'm going to go climb a mountain. So I did 24 kilometres of hiking in the morning and then turned up for the game, watched the game. I went swimming, I think, that day as well. I just did everything possible.
I'm not going to lie, Polly. I'm sat down and I feel shattered. You just telling me about that, to be fair. Most people, most broadcasters, how they prep for a game, will write a little bit of note, will do the research. Not many people go hiking up a mountain. I can guarantee that. I can certainly guarantee I don't before we cover any cricket games. So I'm glad you had a great time out in Australia. Let's finish off by asking you, are we going to do it? Are Durham going to defend then this 162 target before you go back to commentary?
Do you know, I think they've put themselves in the best position possible, and I think if there's a time to do it, now is the time.
Absolutely. So who's going to be the difference, Meg, do you reckon? I mean, we've talked Durham's bowling lineup. Maddie?
I mean, potentially
Maddie,
but I know that would be a great day. But you know, they've got so many options there. I think obviously the young pair of Trudy Johnson and Grace Thompson, they look so exciting this season. So I think they'll be impactful. But yeah, as I say, they've got so many options, so many all rounders as well.
Absolutely. Well, it should be an exciting day here at the Banks Homes Riverside. Of course, it is Pride Day as well. It's a really big day in the calendar here at Durham Cricket. We're celebrating it with this double header. The men taking on the Derbyshire Falcons a little bit later. That's a 6:30 start. But Durham women, if you are just joining us, defending 162 for what would be their second win at the Vitality T20 Blast 2025. Polly, you'll be back with us post-match?
Yes, I will be. Looking forward to it.
Fantastic. I haven't put you off enough yet. Ash is celebrating. He's not going to celebrate what I'm about to say because we're swinging her across to him next. Polly's going to rejoin the commentary team. But can Durham pick up their second win? We shall soon find out in the company of Polly Starkey. But first, the main man who's had his second lunch, Ashthorpe.
I need my first one. But no, brilliant stuff. Thanks, guys. Always good to see Andy in the Daffa News studio. But Durham have put themselves in a strong position. Probably just over par score of 162 for 5. Will they rue that last over? That's the only niggle in the back of my mind there. Only 3 runs coming from over number 20. And a good fight back from the experienced Emma Arlott. But you'd have to say that after losing Susie Bates in the first over, that coach Danny Hazel would have absolutely snapped your hand off to get 162 on the board. As Polly and Andy mentioned, that's the highest score they've managed so far in the Vitality T20 Blast. And Polly was asked there who she thought might be the difference. If you look at the first innings, Hannah Baker, maybe Polly, we can look to Katie Levick as being the linchpin of Durham's attack.
Yeah, Katie Levick, what a bowler. She is just so experienced and always has an impact. whether it's with wickets or just being really economical, and always just kind of having a calm presence on the field. So yeah, plenty of people who could do that for Durham. But yeah, as I said there, I'm just so excited about the prospect of Grace Thompson and Trudy Johnson, kind of the Durham pair who have kind of come through the pathway and are real success stories. And obviously with Grace Thompson being so effective in the 50 over as well. I've just been watching them over the last few weeks. The future's bright.
Yeah, really exciting. You've got tall Grace Thompson who swings the ball away from the right-hander. You've got Trudy Johnson who will swing it back into the right-hander. You've got Phoebe Turner who often gets forgotten about in the young category. Big, how old's Phoebe Turner? Probably 20.
She's 21 or so.
Yeah, so she's young and making her way in the game. Are really exciting and probably will be the quickest bowler on show for Durham. And then you throw the spin options. You've got Maddie Villiers. Will she be on a high after that first innings? No, absolutely no doubt. Can she impact the game in the second half? And then you've also got the legendary Katie Levick. You've got Susie Bates who'll bowl a bit of off spin. You've got the captain who can bowl a bit of filthy leg spin. You've got, who else? Catherine Fraser who bowls really good off spin as well. So there's a lot of options that Holly Armitage has as a captain. And she'll take the field defending their highest score of the season. You can see Grace Thompson having a chat with the skipper there. And I would be very surprised if it isn't Grace Thompson to take the first over from the Finkel end.
It's Meg Austin and Davina Perrin to open the batting for the Bears. Davina Perrin, who's been very effective early on in the season. She scored 87 against Durham and then 34 against Lancs more recently. So a big hitter. And then Meg Austin, who's yet to make a big score for the Bears, but who were, I know, at the back end of last season when it was the regional era, made her debut for Central Sparks. And it was my dad, in fact, that went to watch that game and just said, wow, like she's the player to watch. And it's really interesting, actually, with Meg Austin and Davina Perrin opening the batting, because they're both from the Staffordshire pathway. And Meg Austin's a couple of years older than Davina Perrin, but they've just had really different kind of rises in the game. And I think it is a real example of, people's development isn't linear and people develop at very different times. And they're now on the same stage, having come through the pathway at slightly different points. There'll be Meg Austin to be on strike.
Grace Thompson, new ball in hand. And right on the money first ball from the tall medium pacer. Who'll be hoping to get a bit of swing. Overheads are a little bit better to bat in at the moment. There's bright sunshine here in Chesley Street. When Durham started their innings, it was a little bit overcast and muggy. But it's beautiful conditions out there now. This one down the leg side, and we'll get the Bears off the mark with a wide. As you said, Perrin was destructive. Her innings against Durham in that first game of the season, along with Laura Harris, definitely the two ones to keep your eye on. This one again is down the leg side, so no real swing so far for the youngster.
Yeah, just looking for a little bit of consistency, which I think is always difficult with younger players. And I think perhaps just because they're, on the big stage in senior teams, I think it gets forgotten sometimes about players' age, and actually that consistency takes a lot of time.
That one a little bit of nipping off the seam. Oh, she needs to work on her football skills there, Gracie. I'm not going to slag off any football teams in the North East because that can escalate very, very quickly. But yeah, better line that time. Still trying to get the ball to swing. That one just nipping back off the seam. A little bit similar to the one that Susie Bates got from Izzy Wong early doors. good conditions to bat in, and knowing exactly what you need to win. That one's floated up and belted out to the sweeper on the offside. It'll be Austin off the mark. 2 without loss. Sorry, 3 without loss. There was 2 wides earlier in the over. Remember, Durham women winning the toss and electing to bat first on a good pitch. The same pitch that was used for the one-day international between... Sorry, it was a T20, wasn't it? Between the West Indies and England on Friday. Good areas and a nice solid start as well from Perrin driving that one, but it won't beat mid-off. This is what you need in the power play now, these last couple of balls in the over. You don't want to be conceding boundaries and give momentum to the visitors. And again, just losing a wrist a little bit there as that one again goes down the leg side. A little bit perplexed by it all at the moment, Grace. Holly Armitage coming out of slip. And they're just reinforcing the onside with Thompson not getting the swing. The breeze is blowing across the ground away from the right-handed batter. So as you see on your screens now, from right to left, and much better areas. Perrin drops and runs into the offside, and Armitage does the fielding. Five without loss so far. Grace Thompson not looking happy with life at the moment. Puff of the cheeks and a shake of the head. This one's short and punched into the offside. Although it wasn't their best over, it's only gone for 5. The Bears have started off quietly, with 5 without loss.
Yeah, I'd say obviously not what Grace Thompson would have wanted, but it's by no means a disaster. With the required run rate at 8.3. So the Bears very much behind that after the first over. Looks like it will be Trudy Johnson who's going to be bowling from the Finkel end. So another young bowler for this Durham side, and who's bowled well so far in the competition. 2 for 26 against Lancs. Johnson in. This is in the air. It's going to drop short before the fielder, Leah Dobson.
Yeah, she will get the ball to swing back into the right-hander. As you mentioned earlier, probably really exciting from a Durham point of view that the 2 girls opening the bowling have come through the ranks.
Yeah, you've got homegrown players, and it's also just really special that they can play for a Tier 1 side, and that Tier 1 side is their home team. And the team they've grown up playing for. Johnson in again to Perrin. Slaps that straight back, but they'll scramble through for 1.
Oh. Also, was that a return catch? There's all sorts happening there.
In fact, it was Austin on strike. I mean, Perrin is rapid between the wickets, and Austin managed to keep up with her pace. That was a risky time to take a run.
Wow. Drop catch and nearly a run out off the ball. Very tight.
Johnson at the top of her mark, coming in with Perrin awaiting. This one just through to the keeper, signalled wide by the umpire. So 8 without loss.
Yeah, the disappointing part from Durham's point of view is that 4 of those are now wides. That's something to keep your eye on as this innings progresses.
Perrin awaiting again. This one in the air, struck down the ground. It's going to plug. Looked like it could go all the way for 4. That was I felt like a classic Davina Perrin shot. It goes quite high in the air. I was surprised it plugged in the field. But 10 without loss. Perrin on 4, Austin on 2. Pushed into the offside this time. And there'll be no run available.
I think that's the lengths that Johnson's wanting to hit there. Just back of a length, angling in at the off stump. I think if Perrin gets anything full, she'll look to climb into that and try and hit it down the ground. And with that, they're putting the tallest fielder they have. And Grace Thompson across to mid-off.
Johnson to Perrin. Push towards square. We'll get the single. So 11 without loss. Austin awaits, slaps that down the ground. Will be fielded inside the ring. There was just kind of like a surge of yellow shirts that all ran in. I presume to potentially back up if there was a shot at the stumps. 12 without loss after the second over. 18 overs remain with Meg Austin on 3. Dav Perrin on 5. And of course the total chasing 163.
Susie Bates is going to have a ball. Didn't come out of Grace Thompson's hand as well as probably what everybody would have liked in that first over, especially Grace. She looked a little bit unhappy with life in general, but she's going to get a rest. She'll bowl, no doubt, at some stage further in the innings, but the experienced Susie Bates, the New Zealand great, probably one of the all-time greats of women's cricket.
Definitely. Took 2 for 23 against the Bears in that first game, and she'll want to redeem herself after a very, very short time with the bat.
She's going to start over the wicket. That one's swept away in the air, and Dobson's unable to get around and either take the catch or prevent it going for 4. And an aggressive start from Austin against Susie Bates. First boundary for the Bears. Tries to repeat the dose. This time it'll go 1 bounce out to Dobson on the leg side. Not sure where Bess Heath's thrown that ball. Attempt to throw it back to Susie Bates.
Invisible fielder.
Yeah, it was about 20 yards away from her. Just going to try round the wicket to Perrin. This is cut away, but won't. Oh, there's a mix-up. Oh, and I'm sure that's come off Does that not come off the batter's bat?
It looked like it did. It kind of pinged, so
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Took a funny bounce, didn't it?
Yeah. But of course, the Bears batters capitalising off overthrows.
No, it didn't. Came just out of the back foot mark, I think, where the bowlers have been landing near the stumps. It's an awkward one. Really good backing up. I think it was Matty Villiers, actually. This is hit over mid-off and will go away for 4. Perrin almost like lazily looking around and just going, yeah, I've just hit that for 4. It's all good in the world. I initially thought she was trying to hit that on the onside, but it was flat battered over mid-off for 4. Bit of pressure on Susie Bates. Who pulls this one hard into the pitch. And Perrin knocks it down to long on. We'll pick up another single. 11 off the over so far. Look to target the off spin. That one beats the bat through to Bess Heath. That ends the over. 23 without loss. And a good over, that one for the Bears, 11 from it.
Yeah, good from a Bears perspective. And it just looked like Perrin and Austin were getting a little bit more comfortable. I think this is a big opportunity for Meg Austin as well, who hasn't made a big score yet in a Bears shirt. And she'll want to keep a place at the top of the order. She's got the incredibly experienced Davina Perrin, who I think is in her 5th season of senior cricket, despite just being 18 years old.
Wow.
So she's been in this situation many a time, and it's going to be Grace Thompson given the ball, now bowling from the Finkel end. So 24 without loss after 3 overs. Perrin on 12. He's the on-strike batter. Meg Austin on 8 at the non-striker's end as Thompson is in. Signalled a wide. So still having the same issues as she was when she was bowling from the Lumley end.
It's a really good take from Bess Heath down the leg side.
Thompson in again to Perrin, hits hard, and that's going to go for 4. It's a 1 bounce 4.
Yeah, that's the length she likes, isn't it? Step and hit. And probably lacking a little bit of confidence. Grace Thompson almost floating that one up into the slot.
It's a difficult situation to be in when you are bowling inconsistently. You're bowling wides, and you know you just want to bowl a decent ball.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you kind of bowl anything, you've got a player like Davina Perrin there who's like, yeah, I'm just going to whack this. And it is difficult to come back from that and again, flicked into the leg side. They'll just get the 1 run, which feels quite mellow for this pair, who I expect to be probably running 3 at this point. 30 without loss.
Lots of encouragement from her teammates out there, which is good to hear. There's nothing worse when it's not going quite right for you. Just going to try cross seam here.
Thompson in again.
Nick.
It's a bit of chaos there with Austin flicking her bat back into the crease.
I think she's got the outside edge there. Tough chance for Bess Heath.
It's just a slight discussion between the pair in the middle. Thompson, she's got a smile back on her face, which is good to see. And again,
Not
This
now,
one
she won't.
cut hard. It's gone for 4. That's the destructive batting we expected to see from the Bears. Meg Austin on that occasion. That's tough. I think perhaps that chance in the previous ball had given Grace maybe a little bit of confidence back, or maybe a bit of hope of something happening. And then Austin puts that ball away. Thompson into action, dragged down the ground for no run.
I'm picking up run-out vibes here. I don't know why. You've seen these two. They just seem a bit frantic with their running.
They are a pair who I think, I know certainly Davina Perrin has been run out on a number of occasions,
Right.
and that's just because she's so fast, so will risk it, and can also turn around really, really quickly, but kind of perhaps overestimates what she could do. Thompson in again. It's falling inside the ring. There's a shot at the stumps, and the stumps are hit, but Meg Austin will be back safe. As you say, sensing a run out here, and I think that's good reason for it.
She's home pretty comfortably in the end. Hit it just enough to the fielders left there. Phoebe Turner picking up and shying at the stumps.
And I think this is something Durham will have been aware of before the game. They've played against Davina Perrin quite a bit, less so Meg Austin, but they've seen Davina Perrin with other partners out in the middle where they've just gone for it. And so actually fielding, I think, is where the big emphasis is. Obviously, yes, bowling, but fielding and trying to get those opportunities and put pressure on the batters, and also putting pressure in the sense of, oh, actually, maybe we shouldn't run this too because their fielding has been excellent today. So I think that's kind of the big task at hand for Durham here.
Trudy Johnson back into the attack. This is driven away and driven square of the wicket and will race away for 4. Right to the ground staff. Basking in the sun and deserving everything they get after last week with the rain around for the one-day international. There were some long hours put in by those gentlemen on the deck chairs. But a good start to the over again for the Bears. That's a glorious shot. That is a beautiful shot. That's not a bad ball at all. And that's great batting by Austin. Just trusting this good pitch, putting her hands through the ball and picking up back-to-back boundaries.
Yeah, lifted it over the fielders inside the ring. Really nice bit of cricket. 21 from 15 now. It's Meg Austin. The Bears 34 without loss. 43 even.
Yeah.
Reading the numbers backwards.
None for 43. Do it properly. A direct hit. And an appeal. But not out.
I mean, great bit of fielding regardless.
Yeah, from
and
side on.
Yeah, side on, that's always tricky.
Umpire Naeem at that end. In an excellent position, to be fair. This one's driven and, hand to it. I think it's Turner there at mid-off. Unable to clutch that one. That's probably 3 half chances, you would have to say, so far for Durham.
That would have been an outstanding catch if it was taken. Yeah, a difficult one. Diving to a left, but I think you could maybe put that down as a chance or half chance at least.
Yeah, she did well to get a hand to it. Credit. Probably saved a couple of runs. 13 off this over so far. This one's cloth back over the head, but is it hit well enough to go away for 4? I think it will be. Not perfectly timed, but picked the gap nicely.
Yeah, initially it looked chaseable. I thought it was going to slow up in the field, and I think that's Phoebe Turner again who was in pursuit of that. Well, that's the 50 up for the Bears, which they've done in less than 5 overs.
It's come in a real hurry. Last couple of overs been expensive from the youngsters. Durham need to break this opening partnership. And they'll finish with the single. 51 without loss after 5. You see Ben Stokes, Ben McKinney, Bustelader walking around the ground in preparation for tonight's game against the Derbyshire Falcons. That one starting at 6:30. Durham women with it all to do here. Got to a great total of 162. But the Bears making good progress so far of 51 without loss.
Be Katie Levick that Holly Armitage calls on. Brings plenty of experience. With Perrin on 24 from 14. Meg Austin 22 from 16. Perrin awaits as Levick is in with the leg spin. Chipped up in the air. It's going to fall away from the fielders. Just goes over the ring and races away towards the boundary. In the end is fielded.
Just not quite falling for the Durham fielders at the moment. That one again just out of the reach of Dobson.
Levick in again. This one's scooped by Perrin. Heads towards the boundary. Run through for 2. So far in the over, they've run 2 2s. 55 without loss as Levick even looks to continue over.
That's a good shot.
Into the air, and that's 4. 6 even.
Great shot. Just picking up the length there, Perrin. Climbing in that right over mid-wicket for 6. Durham desperate for a breakthrough here.
Just makes it look easy as always. It looks really effortless, but just strikes the ball really well and sends it all the way for 6. Levick in again, driven. We'll just find Leah Dobson inside the ring. A much needed dot ball for Durham. So Perrin, 34 from 18 now. Levick struck down the ground. Susie Bates fields that. She has a shot at the stumps, rolls it on the ground. It goes a little bit wide. So 62 without loss. Final ball of the over for Katie Levick. Meg Austin on strike. This is in the air. There's a fielder under it, and the catch is taken. Holly Armitage takes the catch. Katie Levick gets the first wicket, and that's the end of Meg Austin, who goes for 22 from 16. She's done a really good job for the Bears at the top of the order, opening the batting. A really effective partnership of 62 with Davina Perrin, probably one of the younger opening pairs in the competition. But she hits hard and picks out Holly Armitage.
Yeah, it's a big wicket, that one, Polly. Desperately needed for Durham. Captain did well. Got a body in an excellent position to take a comfortable catch. But the experienced Katie Levitt gets the important breakthrough off the last ball of the power play.
That's why you call on your experienced players, just to come in and be able to not kind of panic about the situation. Just be like, no, I know my game. I know what I can do here and be effective. So 62 for 1 are the Bears, chasing 163. So 101 runs to win with 14 overs remaining.
Be a change of bowling from the Lumley end. It looks like Phoebe Turner is going to join in the action.
Phoebe Turner definitely makes it into kind of my underrated 11 of county cricketers, because in the 50 over in particular, she just takes wickets for fun.
I think she's going to have a breakthrough year with the bat at some stage as well. She's very, very talented ball striker. And
yeah, she got a century. She got a century out in Zimbabwe pre-season.
She certainly did, yeah. This one's cut away out into the deep. And good fielding keeps it down to 2. Trudy Johnson out in the deep. Oh, this one's hit off the back foot. Thinking about a run again. Durham just need to get on a bit of a roll here. Picked up the wicket at the end of the power play. An excellent opening stand between Austin and Perrin. It's got the Bears off to an absolute flyer. Oh, and an inside edge goes just past the off stump. The luck seems to be running with the Bears at the moment.
Yeah, Nat Wraith at the non-striker's end, who's yet to face the ball. Probably keen to get going.
Seen a bit of action at the other end so far.
This is really good stuff from Phoebe Turner. Just kind of calming it down.
Slower ball taking the pace off. This is an opportunity for a run out fumbled. Catherine Fraser, the fielder. Drop and run from Perrin. Putting Wraith under pressure, who yet to face the ball. Beautiful afternoon here at Chesley Street. Wraith knocks that into the offside and will get off the mark. Got Jamie in the crowd for the first time I think I've heard him this season.
.66 for 1 with Perrin, 38 from 23. Wraith 1 from 1. It's Perrin on strike.
A good slower ball. And Fraser does the fielding again. But great running from this Bears batters. What have we got off that over? 5 off the over. Important, that was just a nice quiet over from Durham. Building on the wicket, where Durham need to try and build a bit of scoreboard pressure and just try and knock that required run rate back up. It was over 8 to start with. It's now down to just 7.4.
At the same stage, Durham were 43 for 2. So slightly different pictures. I think the thing with Durham that they did well is they paced their innings really nicely. And at no point did they... I don't know, I think it was quite consistent across the board. They had some more, some bigger overs. But actually they started slow and kind of built it up, whereas the Bears have started quite fast. And whether that peters out as they lose wickets or... it even feels like that started to happen a little bit.
Paddy Villiers into the attack.
Just the one run available. So 68 for 1.
Can she star with the ball and the bat?
Yeah, she's
Put
had
the perfect game together.
a busy day already. And as always, very sharp in the field. Villiers to Wraith. This one's on the leg side. We'll just find Grace Thompson for the one run. 69 for 1. Villiers to Perrin.
Shot.
Slaps this in the air, and that goes all the way for 4. That was nice from Perrin. By no means a technical shot, but it did the job.
It was a great shot with the field placings. You've got square leg in place there in the circle, and she decided to hit it straight over that fielder's head.
Yeah, I just noticed before the delivery, she's doing it now again. She just has a little look around. Most balls she'll do this, just have a look and think, okay, where are my options? Where are the gaps? This time just playing it into the pitch for no run. Villiers to Perrin.
Shot.
This one's in the air, and it could go for 6, and it goes for 4. One bounce 4. Close to the rope. But another good shot from Davina Perrin, who's once again batting well against Durham. She's now 48 from 28.
That's really clever batting. That mid-off comes up into the circle, and that's where she targets next.
Final ball from Villiers. This one just played back. Perrin wants a run. She's sent back by Nat Wraith. So end of the over, 77 for 1. 8 overs gone, 12 overs remain. Nat Wraith 2 from 2. And Davina Perrin 48 from 29 balls.
Yeah, they need to somehow create some pressure here, the Durham fielders. Armitage goes back to the experience of Levick, who got the initial breakthrough. That last over going for 10. Just over 7 and over required now. There's a leading edge, and I think it's going to fall safe. From a Bears point of view, we've seen that quite a few times so far in this innings. The ball just not quite going to hand for Durham.
Yeah, just landing kind of in between 3 fielders or just past 2 fielders. That's quite frustrating as a fielding side. I guess you've got to adjust and adapt.
That's good from Levick, right on the money, stump to stump. Down the wicket and punch to long on for another single. Another partnership starting to build here. Perrin taking all the pressure off Wraith. She gets across the stumps. Oh my goodness, that is a magnificent catch. Leah Dobson, take a bow. The dangerous Perrin sweeps and sweeps hard. Dobson up periscope, one-handed, takes an absolute screamer.
Everyone just piled on top of her. That was superb.
Is that the change of luck, Polly? The ball just sticking in her right hand there. Absolute world-class catch.
That was brilliant and precisely what Durham needed at this point. As we mentioned just before, there have been those opportunities that have just been a little bit too far away, but that was superb. And to get the dangerous Perrin.
Yeah. Excellent knock from Perrin. I tell you what, fair play to the man with the camera and the man who's the producer on getting that shot. That was absolutely outstanding. Is it John? Ross must have disappeared. It must be John. Absolutely outstanding work to get that catch on camera, because that flew off the bat. And Dobson flew in the air and plucked it out one-handed. Is that the change of momentum that Durham need? As Pavley is the new batter to the crease. Left-hand, right-hand combination now. It's impressive with ball in hand and in the field. Really good all-round package. And will that just create the energy and a change of momentum for Durham? Nicely played using her feet. Pavley knocking that one down the ground. And that ends a successful over. 4 from it and the wicket. The Bears at 81 for 2. Much needed wicket there, Polly.
Yeah, that was, if there was any wicket in the game, I think that's kind of comparable to Maddie Villiers. If she was got out earlier, she wouldn't have gone on and made that big score. I think it's the same with Perrin. If she'd stuck around, she could have gone on and got a century. Yeah. She looked in such good nick, and yeah, as I say, just so comfortable, and obviously was destructive against Durham the last time the teams met. So I think that was, and the fashion to get around in that fashion was just superb. Great work from Leah Dobson, and I think that would have really boosted the Durham side. You got 2 relatively new batters at the crease now, which is really beneficial from a Durham perspective. Pavley on 1 from 2, Nat Wraith 4 from 4. Pavley on strike. This one played straight back to Villiers. 81 for 2, the score remains. Villiers in again. This one flicked away. I'll just find the 1 run. Pavley, another one who loves to run between the wickets. She was keen to go for a second.
She's an aggressive cricketer, isn't she?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, really, really strong. And that's just really kind of representative in the way she plays her game, particularly her batting, but also we saw with her fielding. She's got a really good arm.
Yeah, there's intent in everything she does. I like it. I like what I see.
Villiers to the right-handed Wraith. There'll be no run. Pavley also, I think, was a gymnast as a child, and Edge Bassner saw her go into the splits to get back into her crease. God. So she's got that in her locker too. As Villiers is in to Wraith, driven over the head of the fielders, and that goes all the way for 4. Nicely lofted in the air.
It's actually great batting to a really good ball as well. I think Villiers saw her coming down the pitch and tried to throw it wide to get the stumping. And Wraith just opened up her hands and lifted it over cover for 4.
Villiers in again. Wraith this time using the leg side. It's heading towards the boundary, cut off by Holly Armitage. And they managed to run through for 2. 88 for 2. So 7 from the over so far. Villiers to Wraith. Just nudges this into the leg side, but they get the 1 run. So end of the over, 89 for 2. The halfway stage. The halfway stage for Durham, they were 66 for 3. So again, a different picture, but they seem to be playing the innings slightly different too.
Yeah, Maddie Villiers. I've been waiting for that all day. Really finished off the Durham innings well. Like I say, they were solid up until that halfway point. It was a nice partnership between Bess Heath and Maddie Villiers that kind of got things going. For Durham, it'll be Turner back into the attack. Short and wide and cut away for 4. That is where you can't bowl with that field. We saw a few of those boundaries for Durham. But when you've got third man and backward point up in the circle, you can't afford to give away that width.
I think I can see Davina Perrin and Meg Austin going for a net.
I think they're just walking around, so the change rooms are around behind us.
I thought that's very keen.
This is a full toss and it's whipped away on the leg side. And I think it's Maddie Villiers out in the deep, firing that one back in. Yeah, it's interesting with the double headers the way they're set up now. So Durham have both change rooms, so the home and away change room. The Durham women's home change room is the what was the away one. So Derbyshire Falcons and the Birmingham Bears women will be getting changed round the back in the indoor school. Thompson misfielding there, and that's pretty poor cricket. And good awareness from Pavley just to steal a run.
Yeah, really good from Pavley, actually. Just to kind of not lose concentration and be aware of those things. I think sense a bit of frustration from Thompson.
Yeah. Slower ball dabbed away. That won't be a single. Fraser does the fielding.
95 for 2. 68 runs to win for the Bears.
So it's Rogers doing the fielding there, I apologise. Shouts have come on Tina. Don't need to continue to pick up wickets here to put pressure on the Bears, who at the moment are in pole position. Slower ball will be a wide. This is hit in the air. It's a chance for Thompson in the deep, who settles under it and puts it down. And to rub salt into the wounds, it runs away for 4.
That's really tough. I mean, I think she took her hat off to try and get a better view of it. She got in a good position, but that's really tough. She's had a difficult day with the ball, a difficult day in the field, and as soon as you get kind of into the rhythm of that, it's so hard to get out of it and pick yourself up after that.
Yeah, it does tend to follow you, doesn't it, when you're having one of those days. We've all had them, that is for sure.
It does bring the 100 up for the Bears, 101 for 2, with Nat Wraith on 17 from 12 and Karis Pavley 7 from 6. So 62 runs the Bears require for victory. And Susie Bates will be coming back. Her first over going for 12. Now bowling from the Finkel end. Nat Wraith on strike. Bates in. Has pulled away. Is it going to... Yes, it does. It goes for 4. The fielders having to leap over each other. I think that's... Yeah, Grace Thompson jumping over Trudy Johnson. That's another boundary for the Bears. 105 for 2. Wraith on 21 from 13 now. Bates to Wraith. This one straight through to Bess Heath. Bates in. This time slap down the ground. We'll find Holly Armitage. That long off. 106 for 2. Bates just trying to mellow that run rate, which is currently at 9.2. The required run rate being 6.7. So 57 runs to win. Bates just adjusting the field for the left-hander, Karis Pavley. Bates to Pavley. Drives that straight down the ground. Cut off before the boundary. We'll get 107 for 2.
That's the beauty of getting that boundary first ball of the over. Now the Bears can just really relax, knowing that they've already won the over. Under no pressure now, scoreboard-wise. 56 from 50.
Bates to Wraith. Chipped in the air. They're going to push for 2. And they're going to do that very comfortably. 109 for 2. That's the thing for the Bears. There's no scoreboard pressure. There isn't pressure with, they've only lost 2 wickets, and they do bat very deep. As Bates is in, flicked off the pads. And that's the end of the over. So 12 overs gone, 8 overs remain. 53 runs to win as the Bears reach 110 for 2. Nat Wraith 25 from 17. Karis Pavley 8 from 7.
Yeah, Wraith's done really well. Any thoughts that Durham could put any pressure onto the Bears? She's managed to push that back onto Durham. It's Graham Clark, Casey Aldridge heading round to the nets for a hit. Be Katie Levick back into the attack. Being Durham's strike. Well, definitely their strike bowler. This one's slow and tossed up. And a little bit of a misfield there. Tough one. The ball spinning and just in front of her on the wicket end there. Trudy Johnson gets plenty of hand to it, but they still get a single. Been impressed by Wraith since she's come to the pitch. Oh, is that a mis-stumping? It is. Levick beats the bat. Pavley down the wicket, trying to hack that away into the leg side. Bess Heath fumbles. This time she sweeps and sweeps well in front of square. And as often happens when you give the batters an opportunity, the next ball goes for a boundary.
That was a really nice shot by Pavley. I just thought, for me, that was a shot that shows her power. She just kind of put everything into it, but it was really nice along the ground, not risky at all.
She gets back deep in the crease, tries to pull that one, gets a single out into the leg side. You can just feel the frustration from a Durham point of view at the moment. Yeah,
it's gone a little bit quiet in the field. The Bears only needing 47 runs to win. And you feel for Durham, they did well with the bat to get to the total they did.
This one's hit away into the leg side powerfully. And Thompson, who has been the magnet out in the field as well, keeps that one to a single. Thought she'd just overrun it there for a moment.
Yeah, I think she'll be relieved to actually get her hands to the ball. Be able to save some runs. 117 for 2.
This one's pulled away again powerfully. They race through for a single after a little fumble there from Fraser. That ends another over. 8 from that one, so again ahead of the run rate. They require 45 from 42 deliveries, the Bears, in absolute cruise control at the moment.
Yeah, and we haven't even seen Laura Harris yet. I was thinking it's been a little bit tame. Whether we see her at some point is yet to be known, but Pavley and Wraith are doing a really good job at the top of the order.
Yeah, they sure are.
I think it's a really good sign as well that they haven't deployed Laura Harris, because they kind of trust what Pavley and Wraith can do. And Ali Maiden has clearly been impressed with this pair. So Villiers will be bowling as Pavley kind of, I don't know how to describe that shot in the end.
We'll go with a scoop.
Yeah.
An interesting one.
Yeah, an interesting scoop. 119 for 2. Wraith now back on strike. Villiers in a third over, having conceded 18. Nice down the ground, but we'll just find Holly Armitage. 120 for 2, 43 runs required. Villiers to Pavley, flicks that, works it off the hip. That's good actually from Leah Dobson, who kind of gets herself in a scramble in the end, but prevents the boundary. Most crucially, 122 for 2. Villiers to the left-handed Pavley, plays that down the ground once again to Armitage. The Bears are making the Durham fielders work hard with the left-hand, right-hand combo and the partnership they've built, having to change the field, especially in this over with rotating the strike so much. Villiers in again. That's not a great delivery, and it's going to be punished. It goes for 4.
Yeah, the wheels are coming off here for Durham. Full toss there from Villiers. Well put away by Wraith, who has been super impressive so far. This partnership now taking the Bears to the brink of victory.
Villiers to Wraith. It's going to be a wide. 127 for 2. 35 runs to win for the Bears. Villiers in. This one dragged onto the leg side. That'll just be the 1 run. So end of the over, 129 for 2. 34 runs to win with Nat Wraith, 33 from 22. Karis Pavley, 18 from 14.
Yeah, Durham backs against the wall. The Bears have managed this run chase really well. The opening pair of Austin and Perrin got them off to a great start. Perrin 49 from 31, the real aggressor. It's caught with a spectacular one-handed catch by Leah Dobson. See Phoebe Turner back into the attack. Durham desperate for a wicket. Starts off with a slow ball, which is pushed down the ground by Wraith, who just looks in total control out there.
The 50-run partnership up between Wraith and Pavley from just 33 balls.
Another slow ball is pushed into the offside. Armitage thinks about throwing at the stumps. Decides against it. Crowd starting to build up a little bit now for the second game, which starts at 6:30, so still plenty of time. Still plenty of cricket left in this one as well. Oof, that is slapped hard down the ground. One bounce. Down to Maddie Villiers.
Wraith had to duck for that one.
Powerful strike from Pavley.
131 for 2.
Another slower ball. It's driven. There's a chance for a run out with a hit, and it's no direct hit. Susie Bates, hands in head. Disappointed she hasn't thrown the stumps down and brought Durham back into the game with a run out.
.31 runs required for the win for the Bears.
Big bottom hand from Pavley, unable to get any power into that one. Yeah, this is whipped away into the leg side, and that's 4. From the moment it left the bat, it pierced the gap between Trudy Johnson and Catherine Fraser. Is it in the deep? Raced away for 4, and Durham just unable to stop this onslaught from the Bears.
Yeah, it's difficult who Armitage turns to at this point. It looks like she's going to bring Levick back on, but it's a difficult situation to manage, because in the back of your mind you're thinking, okay, the Bears are going to do this quite quickly with the calibre of batters they've got at the crease, but you're just thinking wickets. If we can get wickets, you know, it may bring Laura Harris in, but actually you could get her out first ball. She's kind of a all or nothing sort of player. 136 for 2, 27 runs to win. That's going to be Katie Levick from the Finkel end. And that Wraith dances down the track. Ultimately will just find square. 137 for 2. Armitage giving instructions in the field. Levick in again. Pavley plays it straight to Armitage for a single. So it's been a better over so far than what we've seen on the whole. As Levick threw a action, and that's been whipped away for 4. The Bears were just looking for that boundary every over, and then they can ease back, and they've found it.
Yeah, you bang on, Polly. That's just gorgeous timing.
Yeah.
Real crack off the bat. Pick the gap. And once you beat the infield here, it's 4 runs.
Levick to Wraith. Just pushed into the offside for no run. I have been impressed with Nat Wraith, having watched her since probably about 2021 when she was with the Western Storm, so down in the southwest, and she wasn't really making huge scores. As Levick's in again, this time on the leg side just for the single. But you know, since her move to Warwickshire, I've been really kind of impressed with her batting, and her wicket keeping's always been good, and she's kind of sharing that spot with Abby Freeborn at the moment. But yeah, she got 58 not out against Lancashire the other week. And yeah, she's kind of looking the part.
Yeah, very good player. Played beautifully today.
Pavley now on strike.
Oh.
Attempts to sweep that. There'll be no run. Still 20 runs to win.
problem for Durham is there's still 24 balls remaining. The Bears in cruise control. Some positive signs for Durham today, especially with the bat, but they've never been able to stem the flow of runs with the ball. As I've said, 20 from 24 to the game. Trudy Johnson is back into the attack from the Lumley end. Reminder at the men's game. Pre-game show will start around 6. Special guest Cody Youssef. Myself and Andy Sixsmith will be in the studio from 6 as we preview the Falcons game. So that's a wide. We chat with Cody around his call up to the South Africa Test squad, which is really exciting for him. A little bit gutting for us that we lose another overseas bowler, but that seems to be the way of the world for Durham at the moment. George Gompertz will be in the commentary chair, and Scott Borthwick for some expert commentary as well. And that's top edge now. And he's running away towards the boundary. Catherine Fraser does well. Sorry, it's Mia Rogers down in front of us. Does well. Gets the ball back in.
17 runs required to win.
That's another full toss. There's a bit of confusion out there in the deep. Grace Thompson does well to prevent that from going for 4. So a few good bits of fielding from her.
.148 for 2. 15 runs to win with Nat Rafe on strike.
So it's hit into the leg side. Out to Grace Thompson, who's seen a lot of traffic today. Not her day with the ball or in the field so far. Pavely advancing and yorked by Johnson. But we'll get it away into the leg side and pick up another run. That's just Durham can't stop the bleeding at the moment. So 150 comes up from the Bears. Just 13 now required for victory. Is that another stumping opportunity? I think it was. Durham have had their chances, a lot of half chances you'd have to say.
Yeah, that's been the frustrating thing, and I think that's something they'll definitely look back on. There have been some genuine chances, and then there have been a couple of half chances.
Clever bit of bowling that from Johnson, just took the pace off it. And this, is it going to happen again? Yeah, a chance missed and followed by a boundary. Frustrating afternoon here for Durham. The Bears on a roll and not far away from victory now, needing just a further 9 for victory from 3 overs.
And that's the 50 up for Nat Rafe, who has been really, really good for the Bears today, put in a shift and been the player who has gone on and made the milestone. She's played a really nice innings from 33 balls.
Outstanding innings. Really outstanding innings from Wraith. Durham had a little bit of hope with the dismissal of Perrin. That one-handed catch, you just felt the momentum was with them there. But Wraith has been outstanding, in particular 50 from 33 balls, 6 boundaries, being well supported by Pavley, who's 25 from 21. And they just haven't been able to stop the scoring this whole innings.
Maddie Villiers is going to come in and bowl her final over. So far, it's gone for 29 from her 3 overs. Will be keenly looking for a wicket. As Pavley on strike, dragged down the ground. We'll find Armitage. A shot she's played a couple of times today. 8 runs required for victory. The Bears 155 for 2. Villiers to Wraith. And that's going to race away to the far boundary.
That is so clever. She was originally looking to hit that onto the offside and then just allowed the ball to come all the way onto the bat. That's real clarity of thought. And literally hit it over Bessie's shoulder for 4. Very impressive.
4 runs required to win. Villiers in. This is in the air. Catch could be taken, but it's put down. They're sprinting between the wickets. And Pavley ends up on the floor. Grace Thompson kind of dived into the ball. So 2 runs to win, thanks to the Bears' quick running between the wickets. Villiers in to Wraith. She swings at that. The bails are whipped off. And that'll be a wicket. There's very limp celebrations from the Durham players. There's not tons for them to celebrate, really. Their game is almost over, just the 2 runs to win, so the dismissal of Wraith won't make much difference, but it's been a fine innings from Nat Wraith. 56 from 36 balls. It's been really important for the Bears. And it's going to be Laura Harris who comes in. And if there's anything to know about Laura Harris, it's that she's going to hit big. It's the chance taken behind the stumps by Bess Heath, who's had some opportunities throughout the innings. And Laura Harris will face the final ball of Maddie Villiers' final over, with 2 runs required. Villiers just preparing to bowl at the dangerous Grace Harris. Villiers in to Harris, who tries to have a big swing of that at that and can't really make contact. So the game will continue to the next over. 2 runs still required for victory. 161 for 3 of the Bears. 18 overs gone. 2 overs remain. Pavley on 26 from 22. There's a big discussion between Holly Armitage and I think that might be Catherine Fraser, who's going to be bowling the penultimate over, but what I suspect will be the last over of the game. Caris Pavley will be the batter on strike. Fraser in. No run on offer. 2 runs still needed. Fraser at the top of her mark to Pavley. She slaps that, and that's going to go for 4. And that's the job done for the Bears. They've secured victory against Durham, and they've done a fine job of it. It's been a really good display from the Bears, chasing down 163. And in the end, they made light work of it, with Karis Pavley finishing off the job for the Bears. So Pavley finishes 30 not out from 24. And Harris is not out. And it's been a difficult day for Durham, who started so well, who put a competitive total on the board. Maddie Villiers being the real point of positivity there, scoring 85 not out. From a Bears perspective, though, Davina Perrin and Meg Austin at the top of the order. Perrin scoring 49. Nat Wraith then coming in and scoring 56 from 37 balls. And Karis Pavley finishing 30 not out from 24 balls. So the Bears are victorious. And 65 for 3 they scored. So as the players walk off the field, a reminder that the Bears were victorious in the end over Durham, chasing down 163. We're going to head over to the studio.
Thank you very much, Polly. Not to be for Durham once again, who are still searching for their first home win at this Vitality T20 Blast 2025. And to be honest, I'm just stalling because, as you know, on Durham Live, we like to make the most of our commentators and our pundits. And you've just heard the wonderful tones of Polly Stark. She's just run across the room and joined me in the Daffy News studio. Polly, it's a busy old afternoon for you, isn't it, this?
Yeah, little does everyone know I'm about a metre away at the desk. I'm going to say, yeah, it's about a mile.
Yeah.
I just sprinted here, just straight after the game.
It's hardly marathon training. Put it that way. It's hardly marathon training
on
for that. And that's only because Ash Thorpe, who is one of the hardest working people I've ever met, has sprinted down pitchside, which is a little bit further away from our Daffy News studio, to go and get the thoughts of Danny Hazel post-match. And I imagine, Polly, Danny's going to have quite a few things to say after that one, because obviously we set a challenging total of 162, and I mean the Bears were never really in threat, were they?
No, it's so frustrating for Durham. They did such a good job with the bat, and we spoke in the innings break that actually Durham will be really positive about this. They'll be really happy. But yeah, it was a difficult day with the ball in the field. I think Bears just have such a good batting lineup, and early on bowling wasn't great, and they didn't execute what they wanted to do. I think getting Davina Perrin was a turning point, and I thought actually this could really change the game. But Nat Wraith was excellent, and she probably put in one of the best performances she's put in all season. Yeah. So yeah, really tough for Durham, but that's cricket really.
It's a lesson for Durham. It's a lesson to us, not that we need it here on Durham Live. We're positive in the interval, supremely optimistic about us defending a total, and it doesn't quite happen. We should know that by now on Durham Live. I remember Friday night when we take on the Bears. But like you said, we were discussing as well in the interval, weren't we, Polly, seriously speaking, about the depth of talent in that batting lineup for the Bears. And let's say they didn't really have to extend too much into it either. Well,
this is the thing, and I did keep thinking, oh well, if Durham get wickets, who's next to come in? You've got Laura Harris coming in. There's such a depth and talent within that squad, and so that's always going to be difficult. And I think it just shows that you've got Davina Perrin and Meg Austin, whose combined age is probably, I think, is less than 40. Yeah. They come in and they just do such a good job at the top of the order, and that really made the difference, because Durham lost early wickets at the top of the order. The Bears built a really good partnership.
It's sickening, isn't it? I mean, you've just made me feel so old, sat as a 35-year-old. I mean, John, our camera op behind the camera, is smirking away. He's even older than I am. I tell you, 40 years old combined ages. And, like you say, I mean, it was unconfirmed whether Perrin and Austin decided that they were going to head back to the changing rooms or go out and have another net as well. We'll have to try and get the news on that one, most certainly. Look, it's difficult to kind of find positives from a fielding perspective for Durham. They were almost there. There were a couple of close calls for run-outs, a couple of missed catches. One of the positives did come from Leah Dobson, though. On debut, stunning catch, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly been working with Maddie Villiers, because that was superb. That was Maddie Villiers-esque. Yeah. It was really good. And obviously to get the wicket of Perrin as well, that just makes it even more sweeter. But yeah, a really good example of fielding when actually the fielding really wasn't at Durham standards. And, I know they can do better in the field. I've seen them do that before. So they will be really frustrated with their performance. But I think it's also hard when you're kind of a little bit out of the game and you know that you're probably going to lose. It's hard to find that energy in the field. And, every team will experience that at some point. And, that was the case with Durham today. Absolutely.
And you could sense that flatness, couldn't you? I mean, you guys mentioned it. You and Ash mentioned it on commentary as well. There was just that flatness in the field when it looked like the game was going out of reach for Durham. Now there's 48 hours to go until what is developing into a very, very important match here at the Banks Homes Riverside on Friday night. Durham taking on the Blaze. Is it a good thing, the fact that there is only 48 hours to go until that game, do you think, from Danny Hazel's perspective?
I think so. You can't dwell on it too much. You've got to move on immediately and think, okay, we need to think ahead to Friday. I think at the same time it's quite difficult because you have to pick yourself up again, and every player is different. Some people like to dwell on what they did and watch everything back and stuff, and each individual is different. But I think it is really good that they're like, okay, we'll park this, we'll move on to Friday, and let's do what we did with the bat. Let Durham should go out and think, okay, we're going to replicate that. We're going to build a really good innings. But what they need to think is, okay, what are we going to do with the ball? And just have those plans really, really clear and be sharp in the field. I think, we always said like catching is, as soon as one person drops a catch or puts down a chance, it's a little bit contagious. So I think just really being together as a unit, and that's something that I know Durham do really well, and I've seen them do that before. Just kind of looking to Friday with a bit of positivity and kind of realising what they did today, and to score the highest total they have done in the tournament, that's no easy thing, and they did a really good job of that. So remembering that and not just that being overshadowed by their fielding and bowling performance today.
Absolutely. You mentioned that word positivity. You've brought plenty of it to both punditry and commentating duties today. We're getting you back in on Friday, aren't we?
Yeah,
for the game
I'll
against
be back
the Blaze.
on Friday.
My God, I thought we'd have put you off by now, to be honest with you. I mean, if it's bad enough having to spend time with Ash Thorpe on commentary, then spending time with me in the Daffy News studio for punditry, it's a double whammy, that, I must say. Any marathon training going down in the 48 hours until the Blaze, or not?
No, not anymore. I've done the marathon, that's park. So I've done a couple of half marathons. I'm doing Great North Run in September.
Right,
But, that's not till September. I can relax a little bit.
Honest to God.
I'm going to go see Sam Fender tomorrow, though.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm ticking off all the northeast things to do here.
I'm going on Sunday, so let me know how it is.
I will do.
That's what we'll talk about pre-game on Friday. We'll just talk
I might not have a voice on Friday. That wouldn't be good.
I'll tell you what, that's not great for a commentator.
No, I need to remember that.
Watch your voice singing along to Sam tomorrow night for definite. But listen, Polly, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm sure we'll be talking about Sam, about Durham, and about probably the 4 half marathons you've got in the next 48 hours before. But thank you very, very much for joining us. It's been absolutely cracking having you. And we'll look ahead to Friday night, because it is a massive, massive game coming up for Danny Hazel's Durham, taking on the Blaze on Friday night. Look, we still have one win from our T20 games so far. We still don't have a home win. That might change on Friday night, but there is still an opportunity for us to see a Durham win today. Of course, it's a part of this double-header this Wednesday. The women haven't got the job done. The men take on Derbyshire Falcons. That starts at 6:30. We will be returning for live coverage of that on Durham Live at 6 o'clock this evening, UK time, by the massive clock in front of me with my terrible eyesight. Even I can work out that's around about 35 minutes away or so. So wherever you're watching us around the world, or exclusively live on Fan Code in India, thank you very much for watching this coverage of Durham against the Bears. It wasn't meant to be for Danny's Durham. Hopefully that first home win is not far away. But like I say, all attention now turns to the men who take on Derbyshire Falcons in around about an hour's time. We will see you right back here on Durham Live in 35 minutes, starting at 6 o'clock UK time. Till then, bye for now.